Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. How are we tonight?
We are good. How are we?
We are wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful. So we're not going to have the board tonight, unfortunately, because I had to reinstall Windows yesterday and I haven't gotten around to downloading OBS again and other things I'll need for that. So sorry, guys.
Ay Dios mío. Okay, no view board tonight. Yeah, I mean that I put that on you every single week. I should learn how to do that too, so that I can put it on just in case this happens.
Yeah, well, you have to connect to a wallet. So either I could give you the seed phrase to get into that wallet or the private key, or you
Oh,
can set up a second wallet and then I can send you the beneath the surface cast or I don't know, we can kind of figure that out.
yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out offline after this
Yeah.
Misha. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. And as far as the beneath the surface cast domain, I'm okay with swapping it every now and then so it's not always in my hands.
Okay. Yeah, that's
'Cause
fair.
it's
That's
ours.
fair.
Yeah.
You know what? And I didn't ask you this, but I randomly had. I believe this was on Sunday or whatever, over the weekend. I remember I got on Caspa Silver. Victor ran us spaces, and I got on there. And right before I got on there, I just downloaded the Casanova wallet, and somebody sent me. I believe the amount was 287 Caspa, just randomly, and
Wow.
I couldn't figure out where it was from. But so wanted to. If you're out there listening and you were the one that sent me that, thank you, appreciate it. It's always greatly appreciated when I receive the energy of Caspa.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. It was a nice little surprise. I'll take all the Caspa I can get at this point.
hmm And last week, I have to thank Odie. He was one of our speakers last week. I got on to him at the end of our show and said, "Hey, you say like too much. I'm going to send you a bill." And he paid it. He paid 170 cas because he
That's
said like a
right.
lot.
He
And
actually paid it?
Yeah,
Wow.
AI counted 170 times, but I counted more. But we're going to go with AI's answer. So he
Wow.
did send it. So I do feel
More
a little better about that. He said that he seems to learn better with punishment. So I think this is great for both of us.
Yeah, Odie definitely comes after it and takes it well because
Oh yeah,
he takes it like a champ. He's super in there, very shows his side, and then if he feels he's in the wrong, he'll absolutely admit it. So that's one of the things I love about him. It's great.
yeah. Got mad respect for him for that.
Yeah, I can't believe he sent you that. So that yeah, even the respect level definitely goes up if he paid that.
He paid it within 30 minutes, and he said, "Wow, the turnaround was really fast." Because I was able to show him, I was able to show him how many times he said it very quickly.
Wow. Okay.
And
AI is so beautiful.
and here's some good news. After our show last week, within 30 minutes of our episode, it was on all of the podcast places, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, all of that within 30 minutes. So we didn't have to wait all night or anything like that. It was super quick.
That's pretty cool how that happens so quickly. So is it automated the way you have it set up? I
Sort
remember.
of. So
Mhm.
all I have to do is turn this into an MP3 and then I upload it one time and then it goes everywhere.
Oh, that's awesome. That makes it
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. So it is automated, but there is one step I have to do before that. But well, a couple of steps because I have to make a summary, but I have AI helping with that. So it's not a big deal.
Well, yeah, I think it's great that we're getting it on as many platforms as we can, and especially with sentiment in the market and how things are right now. I believe the real soldiers, the real ones are around. We're not stuck on the price aspect of it. We're working through all of this, and one day, Kara, people are going to look back and say, these people were talking about this stuff way back then. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
You know, they were going beneath
Yeah.
the surface. And this is what we needed to do. We were so on the surface with it. We needed to go beneath the surface. So it's great that it's all out on these platforms for people to get to go back
Yeah.
into
And
the
it's
archives.
also exactly. And Juan, these things are really cool because when we look at the numbers of who's listening, the numbers can appear one way to us for those who listen on X, and they'll see a number of listeners, but it's way more than that because of how many other places stream this. So, welcome all the streamers who are listening from who knows where. Welcome.
Yeah, and thank you for tuning in. So whether you're here live or listening back, it's always greatly appreciated. We enjoy these conversations on a weekly basis.
Hey, speaking of Odie, he's here.
I see them. Yeah,
Are you okay?
right before you came on, Odie, we gave you props for sending the 170 Caspa to Kara. Already had respect for you, but for you to step up and do that, okay, okay, respect, man, more
Yeah.
respect. Yeah.
And I also see we see Rory in the room. So Rory, we haven't heard from you in a while. If you feel like requesting to speak, oh, if someone's requested, let's see if
We
this
got
is Odie
we
or
got
Rory.
Odie.
It's Odie. Here we
Yeah.
go. All right, I'm gonna start billing. So just keep that in mind, Odie. I have the tally going.
Half half my bag. I heard the Canadian accent there. Being a Wisconsin kid, half my you just took me back to my college days, Odie. Being around these Wisconsin people. Let's go. Let's go.
If I
Half
do
his
that
bag.
again, if I do that again, that's my whole bag.
All right, so let's take a deep breath and just breathe through the words.
Slow
No,
down.
Kara knows exactly how much Caspa I have, and and Kara also holds a large quantity of some Yanni token that I've gifted to her for a while here.
Yeah, I'm a custodian of some of his Yanni for a little bit until he can get a laptop, I guess. Is that what we're waiting for? A laptop?
I I uh, I'm so used to using that. What is it called? The KSPR bot for all my meme token anything, but they've changed it. Now I'm lost. I just don't know how to make it. I feel like such an amateur. It's so funny, but I guess I'm just a little bit lazy, and yeah. So I'll come to you for it pretty soon here.
Okay, yeah, don't forget about it. It's a lot.
The Yanni token, is that the movie that you're doing, Odie? I remember seeing a clip on that.
Yeah, it is. And full disclosure, I went so hard buying Yanni when I saw it. Because I saw the name and I went, I love this. So I went and started minting tokens that spelled Yanni in a different way, and I started stealing every other spelling. So if it's spelled Yony, I took that one. Like I took it out of existence, so it's mine. And then I think I did that about 20 separate times. And then
Wow.
and then I went like just ham buying it. And I spiked the price with another dude, and then it all came crashing down. And I remember I was at work and I was going, well, this isn't the same as Solana. I was like, because I had purchased, I had flipped, I guess, I flipped $1,000 into about 100K on a Solana token about a year prior, or sorry, about 4 months prior to that. And I just thought I was the smartest person ever. Like, I thought I could.
You said 1,000 to 100,000. Is that? I just want to make sure I
I
heard you.
did. It's
Okay.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You. I mean, yeah. That would absolutely. put me on another level of I know what I'm doing. Yeah, so nothing
It
wrong with
was it was
thinking that way.
I was dude, I was so high on some weird stuff. Like I invested in Pepe, and then I just had this feeling. I was like, I was watching Doge and Shib, and I was like, I don't buy any of these altcoins. I don't buy it. But for some reason, I had this feeling about meme coins, and I had it at the right time, and I was right. So I kind of played that game, and then I started to shuffle profits into Kaspa, and then Kaspa meme coins as well, and then that went terribly wrong.
So do you still have all the other Yanni coins that are spelled in different varieties?
Um, I I minted I minted 100% of them, so I kind of just went, I'm stealing this name, I'm stealing this name, I'm stealing this name, and then I stole like all the names related to Shy as well, because I really wanted to just monopolize it, and then when it all came, like, I just it was such a reckoning when I realized, like, I don't know. I just moved into it way too fast and didn't realize that there was no real DEX. It's not the same as Solana meme coins, I guess. And like you can kind of see, like you can watch hype bubble in these, like, at that point, and I felt like I had my finger on the pulse. And then when I moved over and tried to do it in this realm, it was all the most degenerate things, and I loved every second of it. And and now and now I just invest in Kaspa.
Wow. I have two statements. Number one, I'm going to be rich by the end of this. And two, and that's because of the likes. I'm going to get a good bill at the end of this, I know. And the second is you're really onto something here for wanting to monopolize that. But like you said, this isn't Solana. And so I'm curious, can you kind of talk about that difference between Kaspa meme coins and Solana meme coins and how the market's different between them? Because I'm not familiar as much with the Solana meme coins. Would monopolization have been different?
Well, the first big question, and I want to like kind of preface by saying that I'm not 100% sure what KRC20 means when it comes to a is it a monopolized thing in itself, or when VPROGs show up, is that now another layer of names that can go right over top, and there's no real scarcity when it comes to these tickers that we've created in KRC20. That part is very obscure to me. I'm not sure if there's that feature, or if, like, in IGRA, could you make another Yanni token? In VPROX, could you make another Yanni token? Could you make another Nacho token? Like, these types of things are stuff that I started to realize and was like, oh, Casplex that I've invested in, and if so, I'm not so happy about that, but whatever. It's the first Yanni KRC20 fair launch token, and the difference is there's no DEX, there's significantly less volume. When I flipped, I don't like talking about meme coins, but it was a fun time during that meme coin mania. And yeah, the thing that made the $100,000 from $1,000 was it was a meme coin called Family Token, and on Instagram I saw it was this viral thing that used to happen where it was like posting every day. And
I think we just lost you, Odie. It looks like you're reconnecting. Can you still hear us, Odie?
I see he went down as a listener. So let's request
Okay.
him back.
Yeah. He was bringing up good points. What's going to happen when VProgs gets here? That's going to change this whole thing of, well, if you created a KRC token with one name and then it gets recreated later with VProgs, there's going to be a similarity there. It could be confusing. I wonder what that would do to the value of which one you choose to invest in and how that would impact people who have invested in the KRC20 version and then another version on VProgs comes out. That's something to think about.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned with when it comes to memes, I just it's not even it doesn't even register for me because it's Kaspa and wrapping my head around it. Uh, I haven't gone there. There is a request. Let's have you up, Dagpunk.
What's up, Dagpunk?
What's up, Dagpunk? You're on the panel. Nice to see you.
Hey, how's it going? Good evening. Good evening. Hey, so I
Hey.
got a little bit of input on how I think this thing's going to roll out. With the VProgs, if it's similar to the Casplex Layer 2, they like with Nacho. That's one of the tokens that I follow. They assigned a contract address, an EVM, I guess compliant contract address. And so technically it's the same token, but you bridge it right to the layer two under a new contact address. And then you have the ability to bridge it back to the layer one. So I don't think there's going to be like a duplication of new projects. I think, there will be not duplicates of existing projects is what I mean to say. And if there is, I think it's going to be handled in the same way, where you're going to be given a contact address for the new layer so that you can interact on there and, not create any, new tokens or anything like that.
One of my favorite tokens is actually, I think it's on Casplex, but I'm not 1,000% sure. The BMT coin, the Bitcoin Maxi Tiers. I love that coin. The memes are so funny and I see them everywhere. And I usually don't get excited about memes, but I gotta tell you, the price is going up and the people behind this have a lot of experience making these things do well on Solana memes. And they're bringing that Solana meme energy to Kaspa, and their marketing is genius. I don't know if you've seen the Telegram, but it's highly organized. They do raids so that people know which memes to start retweeting and liking and commenting. And if you have a request for a type of Bitcoin maxi tier meme image, you just request it and someone goes in there and makes it and they talk about it. It's a whole group. I love it. It's so organized and fun and inclusive. So I really personally hope that one does well.
Yeah, I've seen that they're a big fan of you. Didn't they create a caricature of you? And
Yeah, that's actually how they got me. So I liked one of their posts. I clicked the like button and I was really thinking it was funny. And they said, we got her. Look, she's talking about us. And then they made the caricature. But here's what I found out later. They had made images in my profile picture's likeness and saved them for when I would talk about them. So they were holding off, and then they they released it once they realized I was finally acknowledging them. So they were just waiting. I love that.
That's smart. That was smart. Yeah, when that, I mean, I there's another one that Gonzo, the shitcoin,
The shy.
the shite. I follow his just for, I don't have any. I don't. I think the memes that I own people have sent me are the NFTs as well. So I haven't bought any, but I love seeing. They're funny to me. Yeah,
Speaking of funny, Onion's here.
Onion. There's a meme. That should be
Onion,
a
get
meme
your
coin.
ass up here.
Yeah, does he keeps forgetting that he's supposed to be on the panel every week. This guy.
Yeah, Onion, get your ass up here. We want to hear from you.
And it's okay if you just want to be a fly on the wall like you've been the past few weeks. It's okay.
he just
There we
requested.
go. Sweet.
Looks like we're gonna get a fly mosquito.
Oh, y'all.
What
Good
you
to
doing, Onion?
I'm just peeling back the layers. Watching the Bitcoin maxis cry. I'm on Twitter less and less, but I still, every time I open up Twitter, I see these Bitcoin accounts. My blood boils, man. Oh yeah, yeah. They're not gonna get it, I don't think.
What has been the Bitcoin attitude from Bitcoiners with the price behaving the way it is? Because I haven't seen what they're saying.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't kept up as except for when you post about it, Onion. So you tagged us on. So yeah. Give us the 411. What's going on over there?
I'm not really too involved, but when I do check, it's nothing changes. It's all price, 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 and then you ask something about the fundamentals, and if it's not price, they ignore you, mock you, name call you. It's nothing's changed. They're just I think a lot of copium. They see Bitcoin at 60 something thousand dollars and they're all, oh, it's gonna be back to, $120,000 tomorrow, just hodl, just hodl. It's like they don't know that the infrastructure's literally got a security budget issue and a whole bunch of stuff, and Lightning is eating all the revenue and blah 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 blah. It's they're playing ostrich. That's what I see.
Yeah, and I put.
You know
Go ahead, Carol.
Go
I've
ahead,
actually
Paul.
seen an uptick in discussions as far as the hijacking of Bitcoin goes lately. I guess in relation to the whole, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole with the Epstein thing, but I've definitely seen a uptick in conversations as far as the hijacking of Bitcoin goes, and as far as the security budget as well. So I don't know, maybe it's kind of shined a light on that lately.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've seen more of the hijacking mentioning. Maybe because I follow a lot of people that talk about it, but I'm with you there. I just haven't been on X as much as I'm in the middle of relaunching
And
a
if you
business.
go to my
But
feed as well, I saw there was a Bitcoin core developer that like put in his resignation for over, I don't know exactly what the details were. It was kind of vague, but yeah, I don't know. There was something weird going on there as well.
I retweeted something earlier. Yeah, I retweeted this Steve Patterson. So yeah, Steve Patterson was a co-author on hijacking Bitcoin. So I should pin the post.
Do you all remember a few years ago when Germany sold all?
I remember that. It
Yeah,
was
I
yeah, it
remember
was I
that.
remember that.
So I'm watching Bitcoin and I want it to go to 55,000 so that Germany can save a little bit of face and they can make a decision if they want to buy it back or not, because I've never forgotten that. It's always been in the back of my head because I wondered if Germany regretted it when they saw Bitcoin when it reached its ATH. Would they repeat the same behavior if Bitcoin continues that downward trend? I kind of want it to go to 55,000 for Germany. I want to see what they do. I don't care if they buy it or don't buy it. I just want to know if they will or not. Because if they don't, I can let it go and never think about it again. I just need to know if they regretted that decision or not. So this would really help me understand them as a country a little bit, especially if they see that Bitcoin could go up back where it was. Would they repeat the same behavior? So I'm just wondering from a psychological level how they're going to behave.
I've
What
still
their
yet to see any
narrative.
clear clarification on whether the United States sold under the Biden administration as well. I know there was a lot of controversy around that, and I never saw any real clarification.
My understanding is that they were just still privately confiscating people's things and denying it.
And that's all the Bitcoin the US holds, right? It's what they've confiscated, what they've taken from people.
That's what
Right, and
they've
as
publicly
far as their
said.
reserves go, I've never seen any sort of concrete answer as to how much we actually hold. Everybody claims that we hold, I don't know, a few 100,000 or something, but I've never seen any verification of that.
And didn't somebody's kid steal some Bitcoin? How does that, I mean, it
I
doesn't
did
surprise
read
me.
something about that. I don't really know much about it, but I did see that.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I can't think of the details right now, but I remember reading them. Amazing. Not surprised, but it's crazy. Um, I think the price drop really shows that it's just been so much because Bitcoin is the leading, the obviously the number one market cap, and the technology was created to get away from the fiat system, and obviously that's not the narrative. It's digital gold. It's being financialized. But man, hopefully this gives an opportunity for real layer ones that are actually trying to solve for problems like this. What's the name of that? Oh, like Kaspa to to gain some ground. You know, if anything, that's what it tells me because I was in the camp of okay, yeah, Bitcoin's just going to be number one. We're good. You know, Caspa can be a compliment, but obviously the deeper you go into Caspa, the more you realize, oh no, Caspa's actually doing things, and it isn't. You know, we rarely hear people talking. I mean, they're out there. There's Caspa maxis that talk about the price, but what Caspa is doing with considering the sentiment and where things are, it's actually developing and building and you know, we've gone on about that on episodes here on Beneath the Surface. So that's exciting, right? It's like um, I've decoupled from looking at the nominal figure of all of these assets and seeing which ones are actually have strength. Go ahead, Odie.
I just posted or in the comments there, I just put a little picture. It's called the Bitcoin Power Law, um, kind of brought to light by a scientist, a physicist named Giovanni Sana something, and I I would and I would very much say take a good hard long look at that chart. It's very good at calling a Bitcoin bottom, and I would say the funny thing about the whole Bitcoin community is they're calling for numbers which break this Bitcoin power law. They're saying, "Oh, it could." I'm on a lot of these spaces, right? And I hear them call for numbers like 35, 38, and the bottom of the Bitcoin power law right now is at 53,000. So Kara is pretty close, saying, you know, she wants it to get down to 55. But I'm telling you, if Bitcoin breaks through 53K and it goes to about 35 or something, I would say there is something really big afoot because you're going to see the bottom of that power law. It's going to be a clean break right through it. And it's for me, that's the beginning of the end if it breaks through there and it's
an extended amount of time. If it's just a wick, whatever, but if it stays down there for a month or so, like wake up, you know?
It's That's really interesting from the power law standpoint. The security budget thing is also something I'm seeing Bitcoiners talk about that they have never publicly acknowledged until now. They ignore every Kaspa person, Caspians as we're called, have ignored us for years when we've talked about the security budget. Odie, you've created this incredible calculator that talks about the security budget. People can slide their lever one way or another and adjust the numbers to learn about the security budget. And Bitcoiners have just been oblivious, living with their head in the sand, ignoring it. And now that the price is low, suddenly security budget's a factor they consider being legit. And you've been talking about this for way even when Bitcoin was at its ATH, you were talking about this. So you've been talking about this even when the price was way high. Now that the price is low, now Bitcoiners care, right? So it's all about the price with Bitcoiners.
Samson Mao, I listened to something he said, it was brilliant. He said, well, I guess it just hit the nail on the head, which is when fees boom, Bitcoiners panic, saying the fees are too high. And when the fees plummet, Bitcoiners panic, saying we're a security budget. And and in my humble opinion, if the fees are booming, all the Bitcoiners should be rejoicing always. And that's the part that they do not understand, is their blockchain needs to have $100, $200 fees happening consistently with huge congestion. That's their sign of success. If that's not actually happening, they should panic. They should never ever get upset about these high fees. That's a beautiful thing for Bitcoin, and it's completely necessary in my opinion. And that's the part where me and all Bitcoiners, like if I get on Bitcoin spaces and say that high fees are necessary, they freak.
Odie, do you think
We know.
I was
Can I say this real
go ahead,
quick,
go ahead.
Juan? Just real quick. Odie, what you just said is so important. And for those of us, see, all of us in this room know that already. But can you explain why you said what you said so that we can have a sound bite? Because I think that's worth clipping. Can you explain why it's important for Bitcoin to have those high fees? Because everyone here knows that. But say your piece on why that is, please.
This is the metaphor I've used, is in a proof of work network, higher fees are the instrument which makes the digital safe, which makes the walls thicker. And if you do not have, and either you can have these fees through quantity, so lots of different participants like Kaspa, or if there's less quantity, you need more size. But this is a terrible soundbite. But the I'll start this over. I really like this metaphor, which is a proof of work network is a digital safe, which walls get thicker through fee interaction. That's the end of that's always the end game when it comes to a proof of work network. This whole block rewards thing, it's just a sham. There's nothing material in it and long lasting. It's just, I don't know, it's I don't know how to explain it. It just
So,
doesn't seem like the end game at all. It doesn't seem like anything sustainable. It's always about these fees in the future. And the funny thing that I understand about Kaspa is Kaspa will not need to have this thing where it needs to go up in price endlessly. It will find homeostasis, and it will find, and its homeostasis will be with its users and its fee interaction with the world. So if we're having 1,000 TPS on average, which I've heard other protocols can do or are doing, but it's not actually quite the truth with like something like Solana, because that's a long story. But we're getting there. I know we're gonna get there. I just have this knowing that my confidence with Kaspa grows constantly when I look at it, when I listen to I'm like an evangelist with it. I listen to these podcasts, I listen to Sutton, I talk with Izio Dev, I listen to Jonathan, I contrast it with everything I'm hearing in other places of the space, like Solana, XRP, Cardano, Bitcoin, and it just feels like we're the only people who are thinking from first principles. Sorry for going on so long here, but yeah, that's my small soundbite.
No,
Hey, I
that was
wanted to add
beautiful.
something.
That
I
was
just wanted to
beautiful.
add
Go ahead,
something
Edward.
to, yeah, to what Odie was mentioning. As far as the block rewards, I mean, eventually they become not important, but they are, I mean, instrumental. They're required in order to get a network off the ground, right? I mean, that's how you attract uh, miners and people who are gonna
Yes.
build the network, right? That being said, yeah, eventually you want to transition to a fee model, but to support the network long term. But I wanted to make a comment on this power law that you mentioned. The 53,000 that if it breaks that. So, I mean, isn't this power law derived, or the fact that Bitcoin is following this power law, based on its historical data, right? Which was fair launched, non-institutional involvement. And now that you have the institutions all wrapped up in this, I mean, what's to say that it's going to continue following the power law?
I that's the big question. And I think it's what I'm seeing is it's the biggest catch 22 where institutions come in and Bitcoin gets papered over, and it's the biggest pain point on miners, and nobody understands that particular aspect of it. So because there's no organic volume happening on the main chain, hash rate arguably is the number one thing that anybody finds valuable in a proof of work network. I would say absolutely, right? And then everything comes after that. But if the hash rate starts to diminish, it starts to there's going to be a vicious cycle downward, which is not going to be able to be replaced by the price doubling. And almost, I think another way to put it is the the mental gymnastics are not working anymore. They're not going to be able to like bring this. Sorry about that. Sorry, they're not going to be able to put over the guise of digital gold. You know, digital gold sustainably. It needs a network which is being clawed after, and being used and needed. You know what I mean? So Caspa is just so perfect. I'm like, it gets me just like, sorry about the like there again. It gets me so like, sorry about the like again. I'm pumped about Caspa. I have no words to put in expression about the utility value that's going to be needed from Caspa. It's just it's just where it needs to be. We're in. Okay, I'm getting off the mic here. I'm losing it.
No, you're good,
One,
Odie. You're good. You're good.
one.
That was good. That was good. No, I honestly, I
Wait,
think
wait,
this
wait,
whole
wait,
power
wait,
law
wait.
thing.
I want to hear from one. Hold on. Let's hear from
Oh no,
one because
no, no.
we've cut him off twice.
It's
I
okay.
was
No,
just
no, no.
gonna
It's okay.
wrap
It's
up.
okay. I want to hear Daft. Go ahead, Daft. I'll
Just
speak
wrap
after
up
him.
here.
Go ahead.
2 sentences, literally. I think this power law is going to wind up the same way as this 4-year cycle broken. That's it. I'm done. Out.
Yeah, that.
And my response to that would be, if that's the case, the power law is continuing and it's all good. If the 4-year cycle breaks right now, the power law will maintain itself. That's my last comment there.
Right. Okay. So that's actually what I wanted to comment on, because from what I understood, think of the narratives and the hype and all the memes. There's no second best. The power law guy that you mentioned, I remember seeing this because I'm in Miami, Sailors in Miami, and a lot of these Bitcoiners that run Simply Bitcoin guys are down here in Miami. And I remember there being a big tussle between all of them because they did not invite that Giovanni guy to Sailor's party at the beginning of, I think it was the beginning of 2025. And I really didn't understand it then, but based on, obviously understanding more of what needs to happen here. And what I initially was going to ask, we know this, but I was going to ask it to Odie and Onion's off. I was going to have Onion come in here because he's gone on a few rants that I think would be beautiful for him to expand on other platforms. And because like Harry, you remember when Onion was doing those solo spaces and coming in and just dropping ridiculous knowledge?
Yeah.
I don't think those got enough listens. They definitely did not get enough listens. I would
He
love for him to
reposted them on YouTube. That's where I was hearing.
Oh, he did? Okay, yeah, yeah. So I mean, but seriously, what he talked about on there, 16-bit, like I feel we could go. There's so many layers to what he talked about because he opened my eyes to, okay, it's not just about what Odie's talking about. It's not just the types of transactions that are going to happen in Kaspa decoupling from its price, because the utility factor and what's being built on top of it. And we have Kaspa KII that Roy talked about it a few weeks ago, where they don't even mention price when they're talking to the industry facing, um obviously the people that they're talking to. It's not about that. It's how can this be used, how can it help organize things moving forward. So yeah, it's interesting to see all of this coming to light, because the truth always sets you free, and just the memes can only last for so long. And I just think we're seeing a recycling of these narratives and the bullshit, and we're starting to hear a little bit more depth from some of these Bitcoiners. Because we heard it a while back them talk. It won't dip below 100 grand. I mean, we're at the price that it is now. Then you would see, I don't see people posting the charts anymore, talking shit. And that's what we've been trying to get to for the longest time when we've had these conversations with them. And I just, I think we'll eventually move past that. It's not about that to begin with. It's which one of these can actually be used, and then these protocols being proof of work. That's where people don't effing understand. You can't just sit there. The whole hodl thing, it's not going to work in Caspa either. This isn't about hodling. And I've said this on other shows before as well. But this is about gather your Caspa and go do something. Go do something, provide value to the network, um, bring your gifts to this. That's what it's about. And I think that's what Bitcoiners are missing. Um, and I think when you see Bitcoiners talking on the surface, they really don't get it. They don't understand it. And you have to understand Bitcoin before you really can even move on to Caspa, is the way I see it.
Juan, why do you think they don't understand? What do you think they're still missing?
I think it's the initial, let me jump into this and hold it as an investment. And then that's initially what you hear, right? If you click, I'm just comparing it to how it was for me for the longest time. I was building a business, doing my proof of work in the real world. I was oblivious to the structure of it. fiat, how it works. I had no clue, but I was really good at that, right? Building business. And then I had a client pay me, I mentioned it, in Litecoin and eventually Bitcoin. And then I just held the Bitcoin, right? And that's about, that's 2018. And think of the narrative shift. Think of everything that we're seeing and what people are talking about, the hijacking of Bitcoin from 2014 to 2017, the change in the chain of, oh, it's digital gold. And then the trade-off. So what was the major trade-off that Bitcoiners had to take into place? We now know that, hey, they actually could have scaled the block size. And I think it was more of the narrative that pushed people to go ahead and move towards the smaller blocks. But now we know that a lot of the things that they talked about just weren't true. And obviously we had the forks of Bitcoin Cash, then eventually Bitcoin Store of Value, and that's that essentially wasn't. It's not like when Kaspa launched. Kaspa is a block DAG, and that can be confusing for people when they come into the space. You have to really go deep into, okay, what is this Bitcoin thing? How does it work? Okay, they talk about blocks, proof of work. What does that even mean? What do you mean mining? Oh, okay, you have to set up computers. Oh, then there's half. So there's all these nuances that you have to learn to really even understand how Bitcoin works. But what you hear on the surface is just hold it and don't even fucking worry about it. That's what I heard for the longest time. I don't listen to that. I don't listen to on the surface shit. I go beneath the surface. So as I kept digging and kept asking questions, the truth reveals itself. And that's what I see with Caspians. That's what I see with people, with all of us, right? We have that in common. We just keep asking questions. We don't take it at surface level, and we keep going. So I just think Bitcoiners are stuck. I see it with people that have held, a handful of these guys that I've gone back and forth with over the past few weeks, because I am throwing it in their face. I have a couple buddies that I'm saying, okay, where's your number go up technology? What can I do with Bitcoin? I can fucking collateralize it on Coinbase. I have some Bitcoin. That's how I use it, Kara. I've mentioned that, and I got liquidated the last time I tried to do that. But the spot that I'm in and what I'm looking to do and how I'm looking to build, I make money in chunks. So launching my business, I'm doing this because what the fuck else am I going to use the Bitcoin for? I need to use it. I need to use the Kaspa. That's important to me too. That's why I try to onboard people, and I want to build. And then I, I want to eventually have a conversation with you, Rory. There's something that I have simmering that I'd love to get your opinion on. But I'm going to build something within Kaspa, and and I'm just hoping that it spreads. And that's what we're all doing. That's what we all got to do. So long-winded answer there, Kara. I hope it answered your question. But it's proof of work, and you literally have to put in the work. It's not just about hodling, holding, and that's you can make money in the fiat world doing that, just putting an investment down and just watching it grow. I don't think that's what you can do with Kaspa or Bitcoin, and we're seeing it play out. That's why there's still major volatility. So that's my opinion on all that. Go ahead, Odie.
I was just gonna add the reason why Bitcoiners have this presumption that they have till 2140 until the block rewards run out. It's because of the misconception that if something is, well, first of all, the block rewards are decaying exponentially. It's like the definition of exponential is it doubles every time, so it's getting faster. And they think if the price doubles, that will match the exponential nature of the block rewards diminishing, which that that is such a human funny little thing that it took me quite a while of toiling to figure out, oh, that's not the case, because when you only have 0.1% of something left, if one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, then and you only have 0.1% of all of the Bitcoin going back to the miners, that's 1 out of 999 Bitcoin per year, which protects the entire system. And I've had more conversations lately with Bitcoiners who think they have till 2140. And yeah, it's just a thing because humans have a hard time with exponential things, and it's hard to put it, and that's a very easy thing to misunderstand is, oh, if we're constantly doubling in price, we'll protect what's happening here. And it's just not the case. It's a little bit boring, but that I just wanted to
Yeah,
put that out there.
but that's true, Odie. And so talk about. I love for this to be explained and simplified too a little bit more because it did take me a while to wrap my head around it. So the fact that they think they have 100 years, right? And we're looking at the block. So each block, the rewards right now are 3.125, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, it's going to have in 2 more years, so it's going to go down. And then you talked about the halving in 2032 it being like 0.75. Don't quote me exactly.
Point two.
0.2. Okay, so when it goes down to there, right? So right now, a majority of the rewards in nominal terms are the block rewards, right? Because fees are now they're low per block. Am I correct in saying that?
The whole science, like, sorry about that, like, fuck. Okay,
You're gonna say it. You're gonna say it and pay the fee.
Lynn Alden paved the way. We as a community, as proof of work people, Bitcoiners, all of us should at least come to some sort of consensus about if this is a closed loop system. If it's a closed loop system, one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. How many Bitcoins of this system, which is a closed loop, should be returned to the miners for security? Every proof of work system is a closed loop system unless it has a inflation happening, and what there needs to be science. I would say a science needs to emerge about calculating, because it's a very difficult science. It's like counterparty risks. It's how much is needed of the total supply to protect the entirety of it. It's like
Yeah, and the more
nobody talks about it.
and
Like,
the more
if
and the more.
one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin, then, like, does 100 Bitcoin protect 21 million per
There you
year?
go.
Or does a million, or does 500,000, or does 100,000? It's like, why is this not being talked
Discuss,
about?
yeah, because people assume, oh, when the price goes up, and speaking to it, for it to sustain, it would need to double. Onion broke this down beautifully, but it would need to double, and that's why he got out. He's in Kaspa fully now, but it would need to double. And looking at activity happening on the base layer, it's not being used as much and it needs to be. So the network is secured with transactions on layer one. So even though there's these millions of transactions on layer two, Lightning, all the other crap that they're building on top, that doesn't secure the base layer of Bitcoin. And it's the same thing with Caspa. It's just we have a different structure to the proof of work, right? It being a block DAG and having weighted versus non-weighted transactions. And again, go to Onion's page and find his spaces because he does a great job breaking that down. So that's where I see a major disconnect, Odie, which would like that clicked for me recently. Well, obviously taking a look at all the things that you've talked about, that definitely has clicked for me. And there'll be other, that's the other thing I think about all of this. They'll just be we're constantly the culture over here is about evolution, evolving, and building. And we're not telling people have fun staying poor because you're not investing in Caspa. We're actually encouraging thought, deep thought, get a little deep, build on top of this. So that's another thing that I see is it's just eventually this shit's going to come to light, or people are going to realize, oh shit, all the stuff that they were talking about 5-6 years ago, now it's here. And then that's when they're going to face it. That's what people on the surface do. They don't go deeper sooner.
I'm gonna be frank with it. It's really about how many ASICs ASICs, application specific integration circuits, computers can be made per year from a country, and what percentage of that is the total supply in the network, and and if a country can produce in 2 years more than 50% of the supply of these things, like, this is a science. And I truly am like, I truly have weird feelings when I think about China lately. But the most important thing that I think about with Caspa is when everyone uses something, they tend to protect it. And Caspa has this affinity for being something that is used by just about everyone in the world, and just about every country might not only protect it on the protocol layer, they might protect it further than that. They might protect it on a social layer through law, and because it's so useful for so many Earth inhabitants, if you know what I mean. I just feel like if it's something that many countries, many people use, then we might do away with this thing of, oh, it might get 51% attacked if China now bans selling ASICs to the rest of the countries, starts manufacturing them just to attack the network. If everyone is relying on Caspa, that would be an act of terrorism on the world at that point. So it's a funny thing where it becomes so useful that social security starts to become a factor, and not just this 51% thing. It's anyway, that's just a riff.
Yeah, but that riff is that riff and how you broke it down there. Yeah, we eventually will protect it, especially if everyone sees value in it. That's the natural course of how we take care of each other. So that's what ends up happening. And yeah, no, I think that was a beautiful take. Go ahead, Kara. You were and 16-bit has his hand up.
16-bit, go ahead. You have your hand up. It's fine. I'll wait.
I just had a quick question, maybe for Odie or for somebody more technical than myself. Going back to the security budget, a lot of us like to focus on Bitcoin and its shortcomings as far as the runway time that it has left. But, I want to kind of take a look in the mirror, so to speak, as far as Caspa goes, and ask ourselves, you know, um, how many, since our network is so efficient and transaction fees are so cheap, what would a daily transaction count look like in order to maintain our own security budget once that time comes? A single transaction on Caspa is something like, what, 10,000th of a Caspa or something to that effect? How many transactions is that going to take to actually sustain our network? And I don't know if anybody's actually taken the time to do that math or whatever, but that's one of my own concerns within Caspa.
Hell yeah. That's such a great question, because if you do the math on if every single Caspa transaction costed 10 cents, let's say, and we had a full, so by the way, a Caspa transaction costing 10 cents would be 0.2, or sorry, it would be 0.3% of or 0.3 of a Caspa, and at current levels. Okay, I feel like I'm getting too mathy with this. Wait.
No, that was
So
the question. Go ahead and be mathy.
okay, so if we have full blocks 3,000, right? That that would equal approximately, let's do this. It would be 3,000 transactions times 10 cents, or sorry, that would be 250 million transactions per day divided by 10. That would be $25 million if each transaction costed 10 cents, which is half of Bitcoin's all-time high for their block rewards. So 10 cents at 3,000 transactions per second, I'm pretty sure that would be, yes, that would be $25 million a day going to miners, which is about half of Bitcoin's all-time high. I'm doing this in my head a bit, but it shows how far it can go is I guess what I'm pointing at. If I feel like I need to pull out a calculator. I'm sorry. I'm talking out my butt right now. I'm going to come back to you with answers here. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I wasn't really, specifically looking for a hard answer. I'm just trying to get people to start asking these questions ourselves. I think we focus a little bit too much on Bitcoin security budget. Obviously, they're the big guy in town, but I think we need to start focusing on Kaspa and what it's going to take to get our airplane off the runway.
Agree.
All I can
Agree. I was going to say
Another thing, we've all been sorry, I'm going to just say one thing. We've all been putting out these ideas of lifting the minimum fee for Kaspa, and I was one of the people who kind of came out with a proposal. I was going, we need some thing here to lift the minimum fee, and then I realized that the one of the main strengths with Kaspa is we can't lift that minimum fee because industrial uses like Kaspa Key, Kaspa DII, so many dexes, so many other things like which will be used in industrial uses. These things need a 1 cent fee, and they need to have Bitcoin level security. And if we're going to like kind of push up the fee just so that us mortals, us civilians can try to secure the network, it's not the way to go. I've had this feeling recently where I would rather a tail emission, which is meager and waits for people to realize what utility this has for industrial use, because industrial use is truly Kaspa's workhorse. It's exactly where we can't go lift. Like I saw the Moose is Loose doing, he was advising about this lifting of the fee thing. I was doing it, but when I really think about it, our huge competitive advantage is Bitcoin level security, high speed, low fees, and then industry is what's going to push us. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. We just have to. I don't know. I feel like tail emission. I don't even care about a tail emission. I don't think it breaks. I don't think it breaks the idea. Anyway.
Yeah, and I just want to acknowledge 16-bit for that question, because I think you speak to what I talked about with what I see in Caspians is we're not afraid to question what do we need to do, what do we actually need to look at, right? Like, yeah, we have to talk about Bitcoin for reference, but yeah, let's focus on what for this to make sense to everybody, right? And Odie, get the calculator because I do want to hear the the numbers. Actually, would love to hear the breakdown. The other thing I wanted to add here, 16. But did you have you had a chance? Because Onion is the one that kind of put me onto this train of thought, and it was the weighted transactions versus you think about a peer to peer transaction, it's a very lightweight transaction. So that's how I was looking at it for a long time, and I didn't really even understand the concept of the fees. And I now, and then thinking about, we got the Kaspa key on here, what they're doing, and like Odie is saying, that the real gem here, or what's really going to push Kaspa forward, is initiatives like the Kaspa KII, you know, and the peer to peer type of stuff is essentially a feature. It was absolutely something that needed to be really easy, and it's great to use, but it's not the main thing. It, like, Caspa is the digital sequencer that can literally sequence and have a base layer of fucking truth, and things like the KII can exist that we can't even fathom what it's really going to do. So
And
I'm there with it.
messaging.
Yeah.
Messaging as well.
Like
And
It's
there we
definitely
go,
going to take
I
messaging.
some form of a killer
when you
app.
when
You know,
Yeah.
when you hear Castbots talk about the messaging in shipping and the protocol that they use, and then how Caspa could be uh could just be so much more overwhelmingly useful for their what they desire, the qualities that they desire from a messaging service. He was making the claim that just shipping messaging could fill the security budget times 5,
I agree.
times 10.
I totally agree. Yeah, I think something like Cassia, all you have to do is take a look at your own text messages. You might not realize it, but just over the course of maybe a week or so, and just think to yourself, how many text messages have you sent to all your friends and family over, just a day or a week? And then multiply that by, hundreds of thousands of people doing it daily, or potentially millions of people daily, if it ever scales that high. That alone, I think, could definitely push the security budget. I don't know if raising the fee would even be necessary at that point, but it would definitely take a lot of scaling of the network, and people adopting the network.
Hey, so we've been talking about the Bitcoin scaling problem, and I put a link into the comments. Juan, could you please pin that for people who may want to look into that further? Uh, Also, there's a lot of terms being thrown around here, and I know there's probably some new people who could be listening for the first time, and maybe you're just learning about Caspa for the first time. And so I would encourage people to go to caspa.com, and on the front page, click the words Learn Caspa. There are several articles that are very easy reading with very simple language to help break down exactly what Caspa is. Because Caspa it's revolutionary, it's brand new, it's incredible, and there's a lot of terms being used. I'm going to just mention a few of them. Uh, so Caspa's it's built on Ghost DAG. Eventually it'll go into DAG Knight, which is a whole different thing. But basically, this is not a linear process. It's not a linear chain. That's what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is linear. Caspa is a DAG, a directed, I can't even say the word, a cyclical graph.
A cyclic,
Thank you.
acyclic, yeah.
I can't even say the word right now. But there's some terms. So if you want to know what ghost DAG is, or past median time, if you want to know what a timestamp validation is, go to caspa.com. Things such as finality depth, or if you want to know what an anti-cone is, which I found that to be really fun to learn, because basically they're half brothers and half sisters, or they could share a grandparent. They could share a shared grandparent. So you can learn about things such as pruning depth or a merged depth bound. And I found it fun to read about the DAA score, because when I just had Bitcoin, I didn't know what a DAA score was. I didn't know what a DAA window was. I didn't know what a blue score was or what blue work was. And with Kaspa, you end up learning about Bitcoin, but which solves the problems that Bitcoin has. So if you want to learn about things, what is a virtual block? What is an orphan? What is a sync collection? What are virtual parents? What are block processing pipelines? Right? What are merge set size limits? What are blocks per second? What are these things? What do they really mean? If you want to know what a Coinbase transaction is, beyond the exchange, right? If you want to know what a transaction validation is, these things can be looked up on Kaspa.com. Also, if you're brand new and have never stepped foot into Kaspa, I encourage you to go to kaspafaq.com. That's a site that I built, and it's specifically for people who are just learning from the ground up. Basic questions such as how to get a wallet. Why do you need a wallet? What's the difference between a hot wallet and a cold wallet? Just the basics. And I tried to use as few words as possible to explain everything. And of course, there's links to sources for more information. So if you're brand new at Kaspa and you're listening to what's going on here in this conversation, and it just seems as if we're speaking a different language, there are many resources you can look into to become a part of this because you can hear the energy here. Everyone's excited. It's contagious. People know that this is at the edge of technology. This is a level of truth, and people are excited and tell me more and get your calculator out. And this is the layer of truth, and let's peel it back. And it's because we know something and we want you to know it too. So uh, there are links in the chat, but also if you're not in the chat, if you're listening on a podcast somewhere, go to Kaspa.com, click on learn, or go to kaspafaq.com. Type in your question. There's actually two ways you can search. You can actually just type it at the top and find out things that I have found, or you can click on Kaspa AI on the Kaspa FAQ website, and that will take you to a special bot that Seb built that's integrated into the site, and you can ask it any question you have about Kaspa, and it will tell you an answer. So please feel free to become a part of this. You know, it's not us and you, it's we. And you're here, so you're learning and you're growing, and we want you to be, we want to help you forward and bring that hand out. So I just want to throw that out there because there are a lot of terms, there's a lot to learn. But this is one of those things that the more you're in Kaspa, the smarter you get. Your IQ goes up just learning about this stuff. So anyway, I'm off my soapbox. I just wanted to share
That
that.
was beautiful, Kara. Thank you for doing that because that does tend to happen quite a bit with us. We get excited, we start to throw around the acronyms, we're going back and forth. I mean, I definitely get excited here, and I've had a couple buddies come on and say, "Oh, yeah, you guys are speaking Chinese." So thank you for that. Uh, Beautiful, well said, and great. Thank you so much for doing that. Um, because yeah, we're on all these different platforms, and we absolutely want people to jump in. People just say study this, study that. No, no, you're directing people to places that they can go to literally start their journey, go back and refresh on your journey. So it's absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Dag Punk, go ahead, bud.
Yeah, I wanted to touch a little bit on what 16-bit was asking about, and that is a really serious question, and there's a lot of truth to be had here. I saw a post, and I was looking for it right now, and I couldn't find it, but some guy made a really good post a few weeks ago, and he basically said we have 1 year left of miners hanging in there and continuing to secure the network. Uh, given the current price action and the block rewards. So if we don't get the fee market engaged somewhat, within a year, you're going to start seeing people falling out. I was doing a little bit of chat GPT here, and, right now, very few miners are being profitable. Those that are mining like at less than 5 cents per kilowatt hour. Uh, I've been hosting my miners since 2024 at 8 cents per kilowatt hour, and I've been negative for most of that time. But I believe in the network. I'm not in this just to, at the time that I started mining, I couldn't buy Kaspa. And so that was my way of acquiring Kaspa. And so, but I believe, and I'm going to keep my miners running because I know at some point, that one or the cast that I'm mining is going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it in the long run, but not everybody's like that. But that's reality. I mean, if we don't get a fee market going, our hash rate is going to start seriously dropping. And so I don't know if Odie's been able to do some math to, I don't know, refute that or back it up.
I love pessimism. Pessimism?
Pessimism.
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 All right. I love pessimism. And the way that Kaspa is right now, I've said it so many times. Kaspa is like watching Lord of the Rings, and actually you've read the books and you're about to watch the movies, and you know that Kaspa is Frodo. That is the level of ingenuity. There's a Carl Jung quote which says, "If you do your work honestly with integrity, unknown allies will come to your aid." It's scarcity. Of course, everybody inside of Caspa or any proof of work or any protocol, they all want the least amount of tokens being released. And but my understanding of these things have completely shifted. When I look at gold, for instance, I've now understood that gold is very scarce. Like, sorry about the gold is very scarce, and it it it's more scarce than I thought it was. There's only 25% of all the gold left in the earth. So when I thought about, if the price increases 200%, will the mining increase 200%? No, because only 25% of all the gold in the crust of the earth is left in the earth, unless, of course, they think of some way to synthesize gold in the same way that they've done diamonds, which I seriously doubt. But
They have. I believe they have already. I was reading an article
yes,
about it recently.
they have, but
In minuscule amounts, though.
it's like a boron fucking collider, and it costs $1 billion to make an ounce of gold, as far as I've heard. And I that's a misconception I had about gold, which I thought, if the price increases on gold 500%, then the mining will increase 500%. And in the same breath, I like to say with Kaspa, we we have an instrument here that we're all trying to maintain. And if by you know by whatever happens, we have to push our emission schedule a little bit further, unknown allies will come. There's a lot of smart, hopeful, conscientious, um, so many different qualities of everybody who is analyzing what's happening here and what scarcity really means and what these protocols truly mean. Bitcoin has proved itself to be dogmatic in more regards than can be fathomed. And even the idea of ultimate scarcity, when it's starting off, it's when the narrative changes to who has the most capability for a fee revenue as a proof of work network, which extends its fee capabilities to everyone in the world to benefit from and use simultaneously, which that narrative is coming down the road really fast. Then you witness there's two paths which are intersecting. That's the funny part about all of this. You watch the Bitcoin path of there's a narrative which it's going to start reversing, and you watch this Kaspa thing which the emissions are too fast. I agree, but it's just like reading the books of Lord of the Rings and then all of a sudden watching the movies, and you know how it's going to end. Even if we have to push something a little bit further, I still believe that we'll have unless here's the only thing I can think of. They hard fork Kaspa completely. Somehow they fair launch it when it's completely done and we've perfected it, and somehow the rest of the world adopts the hard forked version, fair launched. That's the only thing I could ever think of, but it would be insane. But maybe it's so good at that point that they go, fuck it. And sorry to end on a dark note.
Beautiful way to end it. And I went ahead and pinned your quote from Carl Jung up at the top. So if you see that, I love that you brought that up. No matter how isolated you are and how lonely you feel, if you do your work truly and consciously, may have said that word wrong, unknown allies will come and seek you. So I found it there and pinned it. That was great, Odie. Appreciate that. So we heard from you briefly, the Caspa Max. I don't think we've ever had you on the show, man. Welcome. We have you up at the panel. Feel free to take the mic, man.
Yeah, thank you. I've just been at the gym tonight, so I'm just kind of listening. It was very loud in there, and now I'm sitting in my car. So I was just kind of on here, just listening, seeing if there was anything I could chime in on. And honestly, I said the word acyclic. That's pretty much it so far. But
Thank
yeah, I
you
don't
for
know.
that. Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been around Caspa for quite a while now, but I haven't really been active in these spaces. Um, honestly, it's just sometimes I spend too much time on X, and so I like listening to these, but I'm always doing stuff and always busy. So, but one thing that I was going to chime in on that I think is really important, and I don't hear it discussed that often, has to do with the security and comparison, I guess, between Bitcoin and Kaspa. Is one thing that Kaspa has nailed, and I think succeeds at where nothing else does, is incentive alignments. And I don't hear that discussed very often, but it came to like that point kind of got to me when the whole store of value narrative came about with Bitcoin, and you get to thinking like the limited scale is that like later down the emissions schedule, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but this is my understanding and this is how I explain it to friends and family that I get into Caspa. Um, But so further down the emission schedule, where miners aren't being rewarded much from block rewards, obviously the fee market then is very important. But the only way that people are going to use Bitcoin as a currency is if they can do it efficiently and cheaply. And again, it has to be on the layer one. But that's where there becomes a problem, is when all of the security or majority of the security budget is coming from fees, and Bitcoin is what, 7 transactions per second, something like that. Like there's physically, Bitcoin can physically not process the number of transactions that it takes to have the volume. You need volume in transactions to be a medium of exchange and still secure the network. So there's an incentive alignment there where it has to be a store of value. It has to be a medium of exchange too on a proof of work network. And that's where a lot of these Bitcoin maxis kind of get it wrong, is like, you can't just hold it. It needs to be used. But the problem with Bitcoin is it physically cannot process the amount of transactions necessary to secure the miners and incentivize people to spend it and use it as money, because fees have to be low to use, but fees have to be high to reward the miners. And so it's got to be like a proof of work network has to be a perfect incentive alignment. And that's one thing. Anyone that's kind of followed the nano people, they talk about how perfect of a money nano is and all this stuff. But what nano gets wrong is that incentive alignment. There's no incentive for adoption. Like, no one's like, so that's what I think Kaspa is exceptional at, is by having a high block rate and having the capacity to have the transactions, so that, like, yes, we still have the same thing to be concerned of with the security budget, but Kaspa can keep low fees because it has the capacity to process the number of transactions, to have the volume to secure the network by paying miners. So miners can be sufficiently rewarded by the amount of transactions. So yes, that requires adoption to come, but any proof of work network will need adoption eventually. Kaspa is just the one that has the capacity to do it at a mass scale. And that was more of a rant than I was expecting to go on, but that's how I explain it to people.
No, it sounds like you do a great job with it, man. You got me fired up. You got me fired up with how you explained it, and I think you make a great point there, where the incentives and what people maybe miss and don't talk enough about is it's as if there was this guy that was around with all the issues that started to come about, and he tried to present this to a chain that got it right on proof of work, on in terms of making it go against the system that we had in place, and as if he was ignored, and he just kept doing his work, and eventually maybe got some funding, and then realized, okay, I can't launch this as proof of. Another thing I think is people don't really understand the difference between the proof of work securing a network versus the proof of stake. I know we talk about it and people on the surface get it, but in terms of securing a network that at scale, for the longest time, and I think it's why a lot of people ignore Casper, or don't even consider it, or there's essentially proof of stake maxis out there. I think I don't know if
Yeah.
you're familiar with Jason Lowry, but he talks about or what he wrote the book Soft War, and he had a series on what is money with Breedlove that really hit home for me. Just talks about how proof of work and energy. Rory's talked about this from the KI with us, about how energy, you can't, there's a physical component to energy and exerting energy to protect a network, and how important that is. And I think, you mentioned the nano people, how they kind of gloss over that. And yeah, it's fast. It's not just that cast was fast. Again, that's a feature. But the fact that we did it on proof of work, it's scaled, and yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I think people have this frame of reference because Bitcoin was the first one to launch, and there's just a lot of things. Kara asked the question earlier, why do I think people stay there? It's because there's a lot of things that Bitcoin got right, and you're not going to question it if you're just there and you're just like, okay, hold this bag, it's gone up in nominal terms, so that's what we're all seeing. But now I think we're seeing some of the vulnerability. Caspa being around is exposing some of the things that these Bitcoiners aren't thinking about, and I do think that
Yeah.
that's coming into play, man. But yeah, that was great. That was a beautiful rant, man. You're allowed to do that here, so we appreciate that.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it was initially, when I first got into Kaspa, kind of what really got me to dive in what it is. But once I started researching the progression of Yonatan Sompolinski's work, like, I think that's kind of a selling point to a lot of people. We talk about Kaspa versus Bitcoin, all this stuff, but if some of these Bitcoiners would actually just go and look at the timeline, look at the different protocols and the work that Jonathan has done. I know there's a lot of, Michael Sutton, all the other developers and stuff that are geniuses, but I just going back to like Jonathan's work with Bitcoin, where he's been along the way, everything he's done, and it's like you can see kind of what he achieved in each step, and then just brought it all together. And the way he did it in a humble manner is like, he didn't even want to ever launch a crypto, by my understanding, is like he had to get talked into like, okay, you've done all this academic work, you've published all these things about how to do it right, why don't you just make one? And so I think that was a great kind of selling point to me of like, wow, this is worth diving into, because I've never come across anything else like that with so much research.
I'm with you, man. The more and more I looked into his background, and I got to meet him briefly. And I'm an energy guy, and it was after we had a little incident. Kara ran the Unchained account for a little bit and had some back and forth, and it wasn't a great experience, to say the least. But I got to meet him in person really briefly, and yeah, he felt like a humble guy, and um, it aligns. Like I am someone who I had to go to the conferences, I had to go meet Caspians in person, and I have been to a lot of these Bitcoin events, and I can tell you there's just a difference. There's a massive difference, and not just speaking here on the spaces. That's why I do think the cast map thing is super critical. If you're not on there, get on there. Get on cast map. Get verified. Use code WAN to get on there. I think Kara has a code too. Just the things that are coming with Caspa, it's the foundation is beautiful, man. And there's so much opportunity and possibilities, no doubt.
Yeah, shout out to Seb for the cast map.
100%, man.
All right, we have a new speaker on the panel. Punch, what's up?
Punch her up.
Your mic isn't muted if you're trying to speak. Or your mic is muted.
Wonder if there's some connectivity issue, maybe? Punch made devs, do you want to speak, or are you able?
I have something to add. I didn't have my hand up, but something about what the Caspa Maxi said about incentives. I posted a couple pictures in the chat, and you'll recognize them from Christian Ludwig's presentation at, I don't know what it was called, Caspa.
The Caspa
And
experience. Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, yeah.
Caspa experience.
He asked me to make some stuff. I made these videos, but if you guys look at what I posted, the first one is a Bitcoin. It says Bitcoin at the top, and it's a big black square. Do you guys see that? It's a big black square. But the funny thing that you don't realize is at the very bottom left, the very, very corner, that is all the transactions that Bitcoin can do in a day, compared to the black square is all of the humans on Earth. So if you look really close, you'll see in the bottom left corner of that black square, you'll see a little red square, and that's 600,000 transactions, and that is properly proportioned through, computer magic of how many people, and this is why I'm responding to Caspa Maxi. This is how many people in the world can contribute to the Bitcoin security budget every day in the world. Is that very small little red square at the bottom left corner. and it's almost impossible to see. Then if you look at the other ones, you'll see, 10 blocks per second. You'll see there's 259 million people who can contribute to the security budget. Then at 32 blocks per second, it's like about almost 1/8 of all humans every day can contribute. Then at 100 blocks per second, it's basically, it actually is written wrong, but anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys about that. It's a little graphic that makes the incentives a little bit more understood about when you distribute the burden of the fees to more people, it becomes something that's much more, the pain point is different. Anyway, that's all I was going to say. Thank you.
That's a really small red square. I barely saw it, Odie.
You gotta get in there and squint
Yeah.
hard.
That's everybody in the world who can contribute to the Bitcoin security budget every day. Maximum. There will never be more people that can contribute. It's and 600,000 is like actually pushing it. It's actually more like 400,000.
That's wild. That's a great visual.
Yeah, I love that
How
visual.
did you come up with the visual and get it to scale that way?
You're an expert at this, actually.
Well, yes, but I'm wondering what your answer is since we have a lot of people listening who aren't
I'm
here.
gonna come out and say Kara might be a better vibe coder than me already. Like, and, and Kara is really good at vibe coding, and Kara knows exactly how this would happen.
Yeah.
I was using ChatGPT, but I was not using it in VS Code on Codex at 5.2 like you were. I actually had to learn from you.
Wow. Well, people who pretend they know less than they do can get away with a lot more, and I tend to do that as much as I can. So,
Yeah, I've been watching. I see what you're doing. I see the stuff that you've
Sneaky.
been making.
Sneaky. Way to call her out. Way to call her out, Odie. That's so true.
well, I may be vibe coding and learning it at a fast rate, but some of the challenges I'm currently facing is being denied access to let the things I build go to scale. So I built the Kaspa whale watch, but then it got suspended even though I followed all the rules and I appealed and all of that. And I also built the Kaspa price watch extension and it was rejected even though Firefox accepted it.
That
It's
was
the same
brilliant.
code. So I don't understand why I am facing those challenges because I built it and it's working correctly and there's nothing
I
malicious in
would
it and it's fine. I don't understand why that is my challenge. Like, why am I facing powers that be that just want to keep Caspa from being seen?
I would postulate that X would be shutting down your whale watch algorithm because they want all the users to be not automated, and they somehow figured out that whale watch, by the way, it's genius. I was so stoked when I saw it, but the fact that the Twitter account was an automated account which updates um, all of the highest transactions of Caspa in an automated way. I think that was just against what they were up to.
But they offer an API for exactly this purpose. They even have in the development code that you can click a checkbox that says, yes, I'm a bot. They have a whole pathway for this that I followed. I'm using a virtual private server on Oracle Cloud that just lets it run automatically. And I made sure that I wasn't spamming or um, doing any unsolicited replies or unsolicited retweets. And I made sure that I did not do any of the things that they said don't do. I followed it and they actually restored my account, but then they suspended it again. And they have not given me any indication that they're ever going to bring it back. So
Well,
I
I thought
spent
it was
days
super
working on
cool.
it.
I thought it was super cool, and I was like, this account is going to 5K followers so fast. But I'm sorry
They
that
didn't
happened.
even,
I
yeah,
have no idea. I have no idea about
they didn't
the.
even give us 3 hours. They had us suspended within 3 hours. I still don't understand. And it's not just that. Even Microsoft Edge, I'm facing problems with that, getting the extension approved. And I built an application for Google Play Store, but I can't even get 12 testers. I have 8, and one of them might be a scammer, so I probably have 7. And they have to go through testing to even get to this next step. And there's just all these hurdles that I don't want to have to deal with. I just want to build the stuff. I don't want to have to deal with the overhead of getting this shit through regulation. It's so frustrating, especially when I follow the rules and I get it approved at Firefox, but not Microsoft. It's the same code. So it's just weird. Those are the challenges I'm facing, and I find that frustrating. And I was hacked this week, so I had to reinstall Windows, and now I have to reinstall everything related to development. So anything with Python or any of the vibe coding, I'm going to have to completely reinstall everything. So I'm starting from scratch right now. But I appreciate your compliment, Odie. Might make it look easy, but there's a lot of hiccups, and I'm having to go up a lot of hills and I'm getting pushed down a lot. But I just keep pushing forward.
Sorry for my rude messages that I sent your scammer.
Oh, you
Yo,
know what? I got so many that I haven't even read all the I have so my gosh, it's such a I
yo,
don't
we
even know what's
started.
up.
Kara, how many? We started a thing where we started to ask the hacker to send feet pics.
And boob pictures. Oh, I thought that was fucking
Boob pictures?
hilarious.
No, 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 just feet pics.
Oh, I
There
got
was like,
feet. I got
Yeah, Seb was
boobs.
so pointed.
All that. Oh, yeah, I came when I finally got my account back. I opened up my DMs and it's send me feet pics, send me boob pictures. How are your boobs? I went, oh
okay,
my
well,
god.
I was only a part of the people who like we saw. First of all, Kara doesn't say hey. Like as soon as I saw a message that said hey from you, I said sup question mark, and then it as soon as it replied, I was like, oh hacker, and then I forget who it was, but he said send feet pics, and I thought that was the funniest thing ever. So I think like maybe 4 of us sent that. I'm not going to condone to any boob pictures, but anyway, I thought that was funny.
I saw
You guys don't want
Saya
to
brought that back.
see mine. I can promise you that. You don't want to see my anything.
I know, but
But I thought it
we
was
were
funny.
hoping
I
that the
love
hacker was gonna like send. I don't know. I
it.
don't. It was funny. Anyway,
Yeah, I love it. Go ahead, Dagpunk.
Oh yeah, that hey, the first thing that came to my mind was she got hacked. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure and close out the security budget comments that I made earlier. I know it was a lot of doom and gloom, and I don't know, there may be people here who are new to Caspa. They're going to go, oh my God, that network's not going to survive. I just want, those people who aren't in the know, to be aware that the devs are not tone deaf. They understand, this is a real situation. And so, they've got this Covenants hard fork that is going live on May the 5th. That should stimulate the fee market nicely. And so, yeah, that being said, I'm not worried at all. Just stacking cash as much as I can. But anyway.
Stack, stack, stack. Gotta keep stacking it. Yeah,
Not
I was
easy.
gonna
Stack
make
now.
a comment. I've been really discouraged, to be frank, building things for Caspa just for me to be constantly pushed down by big companies that don't want me to do what I do. So I've decided that if I'm going to build, I want to build uh, things that can be run from my own website or something I host, because I'm just sick and tired of being told no. So I'm starting to think of projects that I can do that aren't what I was doing, which was really scaling on that level. But I'm so discouraged by it. I don't want to fuck with it. So the things that I'm going to be doing next, and I already got a blessing to do it. Remember earlier today I mentioned Kaspa.com and how there's all those wonderful articles. Well, I spoke with Kaspafax and I spoke with the people who run Kaspa.com, and I basically said, hey, can I have your blessing to basically take the content from these articles and basically turn them into a flashcard deck or turn them into a game so that people can start to learn this material in a fun and new way. So that's going to be the next thing that I do, because then no one's going to tell me no. No one's going to say you can't do this, or that I don't have to worry about some red tape. So that's going to be the next project I work on. So you guys are hearing that for the first time here. Uh, those are the things I'm going to be working on right now, because frankly, I'm tired of being told no when I'm going exactly by the rules. And it's frustrating, but it takes someone else who has more patience for that than me. I don't have the patience for that. I want to build and have it out and be done and move on to the next thing. I don't want to have to spend 6 months getting one thing to go through. I just don't want to do the back and forth. I don't have time. I don't have patience for that. I have too many projects I'm working on. Um, just last week, well, not even last week, this weekend, I published a paperback and an ebook for my father, and I've got other projects I'm working on outside of CAS, but I'm just constantly busy. So to go back and forth with Twitter about appeals and going with Microsoft, who doesn't even have, they don't have any way to contact them. They make us talk in a forum. I don't even have anyone to talk to. So when they give me a generated comment that, hey, you can't put this Caspa Price Watch extension out because it might have either a similarity to an existing extension or it has a likeness that is too similar to something else. They won't even exactly tell me what the problem is. And there's no extension for Caspa. So what am I pretending to be like? There's no explanation. There's no contact. I ask in a forum, I get no response. It's just, I don't know. It's just so frustrating to me. So if anyone has suggestions, or if you're willing to do that and I pass it off to you, just let me know, because I'm
Maybe look
done.
for other extensions that have similar names and try to change the name a little bit.
But none of them have this. There's nothing like this.
I feel
So I
like
don't understand.
I was
Oh,
gonna say
become a cypherpunk.
is that Odie? That was a
Just
great
saying,
accent. I'm like, hold
you're gonna
on.
become a
Like
cypherpunk. That's like you're.
that's what well you saying that Kara can buy. I mean, obviously we've all been impressed with what you've built. Joining in the hackathon, telling us, that you were going to do that, and then seeing what you're doing. And you know how I see this for you, Kara? Sometimes it's the universe aligning you to where you need to put your energy into. I'm a big
Yeah.
believer. I'm a big believer of not trying to freaking run through a wall if you don't have to. And think of everywhere where you're trying to put this on. I mean, even on X, like this is a centralized platform owned by Elon Musk. Wouldn't this be great if we were running it on Kaspa? Of course, but it's not here yet, right? So we have to use some of these fiat tools in the debt-based system and play their game. That's what we have to do. So if you don't have you got a lot going on. So if you don't have the time, the patience to do that, then move like you said, you're moving it to other things where whether it's your own website. Sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to shift and just go where you're celebrated, go where there is least less resistance, and then maybe come back and try it again when things switch up. But I think it's just a lot of the system that we come from. That's what they do. Unless you have the deep pockets and you can get around and actually talk to somebody directly, unfortunately, a lot of times it's about who you know, how you can get to it in order to get your shit out there. So,
Yeah.
but keep at it, because it's beautiful to see your evolution and what you're doing and what you're building.
Thank you. You know, there's a lot of bots on
Oh
X.
yeah,
There's a lot of
oh yeah,
bots, but we can't have a Caspa bot that's bragging. We can't have that. We can have bots for everything else, but not on Caspa transactions. It's from whales. These are supposed to be rare transactions. We're supposed to not even see that many. This isn't going to be something where there's going to be thousands of posts a day, and it's just too much. But you're right, Juan. I'm going to put my energy where there's a path of least resistance and just go where it's open, because I pay attention to the energy of these things, and I know when a door's opening and when one's closing.
yeah.
And I'm very sensitive to that. So I'm going to go and make a new path and see what happens.
And
How do I become a
eventually those doors
cypherpunk?
open. 100% cypherpunk for sure.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Casper Maxi.
Yeah, I'm kind of veering off to different topics, so that's why I wanted to put my hand up there.
Get it.
Do you guys have any updates or know anything about the Acacia messaging? Any progress towards an iOS Apple app? Is that even possible?
So
It's
here's what I can tell
possible.
you. Yeah, it is possible. Maybe Odie can speak to this. I'll just really quick say
Oh,
what
no,
I
no,
know.
no. You go, you go.
Okay, so I've been invited to a beta group where they're testing it out on the iOS. For some reason, I have not been able to get into it, but I've been sent the invite. I just haven't had the time to jump on there. But yeah, so the short answer is that they're working on it, and what I hear. So this is from Silver Victor, Casper Silver, but they're working on a notification as well from the iOS. So yeah, man, things are coming, and there's a little beta group that I was invited to, but unfortunately, I have not been able to get my link to link myself into that group just yet.
Gotcha. No,
Yeah.
that's exciting. The reason I ask, Kara kind of talked about regulations or mentioned that a little bit, and kind of goes back to part of the reason that I'm not super active now that the Caspa community's gotten a lot bigger since when I joined it. I am a financial advisor, and I have been for the last decade, and that's a very heavily regulated industry, and I work with a Fortune 500 company, and so like I have to sign a quarterly attestation stating that I have zero, client communications on off-channel devices, like personal devices. Like everything has to flow through my branch. And right now, like everything is very kind of gray area with crypto as far as what I can and can't do. And I have a lot of my friends are clients of mine as well. And so like when I have to, it's like the SEC and regulations are all like breathing down our necks all the time. It's I have a group chat with people that I've buddies that I've gotten into Caspa, and there's about 35 of us in in the group chat, and there's actually 6 other financial advisors in that group chat too, and none of us really know whether we can actually have that, whether we're going to get in trouble for having that, which seems silly. And my firm doesn't even offer crypto, so it's interesting. I'm just very much looking forward to that because I would like to be able to have those communications without having to like worry, can I or not, even though like I'm I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just talking about it. But that's why I ask. So I'm really excited about the opportunity there is with the Acacia messaging, but I haven't followed super closely along with the progress yet.
Regulation's one of those things where, so this is kind of on the same topic of what you're saying, but it's a little different, but maybe you'll see where they bridge. One of the regulation problems I was facing with the Microsoft Edge extension that I submitted, they wanted guarantees that this was not an exchange, that I was not offering loan services, that I was not giving financial advice. And of course, I'm doing none of those things. This is just an API that's showing the price and it updates automatically. But because the API comes from an exchange, it comes from a Mexi, that's where it becomes an issue. Now, if I used a different API, then it's not going to let me show a 5-minute update. It's going to do a 30-minute. People might want more up-to-date information. So I went with the Mexi API. So it's not technically an exchange, right? But these are the kinds of little things that they look at and want to know to even push it forward. And in your case, it's a matter of speaking. Can you speak to? You can put any preposition after speaking here. There's a lot of ways that people communicate with one another, and with Kasia or Kasaya or Kasia or however we're pronouncing that, people have an encrypted way to privately talk. But I do wonder, even from a financial perspective, if you're talking about things and it's crypto, and we know the SEC is soon going to be looking at crypto differently, especially when not Jerome Powell, oh fuck, what that fuck's guy
The
name?
new one, Kevin Warsh.
Isn't he a stand-in? Is he sworn in yet?
No, that's he's just been
You're
recommended.
probably looking for Gary Gensler, which is the old one.
Yes,
Ginsler. Okay.
Gensler. Okay,
Okay.
Gensler. Thank you. Thank you. His name just escaped my mind. So he has made this harder for crypto. But when it comes to the financial aspect, I don't know if it actually helps it or hurts it. If you have more regulation of crypto, it actually makes it harder for financial advisors to talk about it outside of their branch, right?
Well, that's hard. It's hard to answer because what's kind of ironic, like I watch people's YouTube videos and stuff, and everyone gives the disclosure, not financial advice, consult a financial advisor. Well, I laugh at that because it's like, I mean, I'm a licensed advisor. I had to pass certain licensing, Series 7, 66, all these things, and nowhere in that license does it cover crypto at this point. So crypto is not a security or an asset that is covered under my licenses. Therefore, I am not licensed to give advice on crypto specifically. So that's where there are designations you can get that are like blockchain designations, but that's kind of where the gray area is right now. Is at least in my industry, is that, like, I'm an advisor and I can't even advise on, like, I can't suggest that someone go and buy this crypto to my clients. I do have the conversation with friends and family and stuff like that, but I disclose to them, like, yes, I'm an advisor, but this is separately from me giving financial advice. I actually have to
Yeah.
disclose that.
It's a
So
gray
it's
area,
interesting.
but investigations are still being done. So, for instance, Rajat, right? He's had at least 2 or 3 investigation letters that he's posted online based on people reporting him after, oh, Rajat says that there's no risk to getting Bitcoin. And then, of course, he's a financial advisor, so he's getting investigated for saying this, and he has to reply back with, oh, well, they're not understanding the context where in this link,
Right.
I said the opposite.
Well,
Right. So
so I know who you're talking about. He's a CFA. That's not an advisor. That's a chartered financial analyst. So
thank you
that's
for
not.
the correction.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
that's okay. It's in the same realm, but he's technically not a financial advisor. Where, like Vijay, like he is CFP, like he is an advisor as well, and has that CFA designation as well. I've talked to him a little bit about that. Um, but yeah, that's so. I mean, you kind of understand there why why I don't advertise. I don't put my business headshot, like my business card headshot, on my on my profile, and I don't advertise that I'm an advisor because like I I also like to shit talk on here too as well. So I choose to remain anonymous. But
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
props to the people, that they.
You're
I
my
mean,
favorite advisor, by the way. Just so
you
you
get
know, just became my favorite.
appreciate that, but I also, I don't want to deal with that. I got a busy life. I deal with enough stuff. I don't want to. I mean, I'm sure we all do here, but like, I don't want to deal with my firm or the SEC or someone breathing down my neck. So I just remain anonymous. I've talked to some people who know who I am, but I'm not like hiding it, but I'm not advertising it.
No, I love that and appreciate it. This is why I'm anonymous too. I don't want people up in my shit. I work too hard to be where I'm at. So I get that. I appreciate it. Keep shit posting.
Yeah. Do I have to say that this is not financial advice? I get annoyed by hearing that, or is it just financial advisors that need to say that? Why does everyone say
Uh,
that when they're not technically, licensed?
no, it seems to me that like YouTube will ban like content curators and stuff. People talking about crypto online. It seems to me that people that don't say this is not, or don't put the proper disclosures, their accounts getting shut down or blocked or whatever. And I think
Gotcha.
that's where it's
Okay.
coming from. Because going back to prior cycles, like people I've followed and stuff, like, I mean, I'm sure you've followed YouTube people that like their account just disappears. And
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah,
has
I've
a
seen
lot to
it.
do with not having the proper disclosures on there. If YouTube's going through and saying, oh, you're talking about you should buy this, but you're not giving the proper disclosure. So I think that's just where it's coming from. I think it might be a
Okay.
YouTube thing, and I'm sure the people that are censoring and monitoring YouTube have no idea what the actual laws and stuff are.
Gotcha. So if you're saying go buy this, then you have to be. Well, I don't know. I don't. I'm just kind of thinking for myself because I get annoyed when I hear that. I just speak from experience, and I don't tell people to go do anything. I just talk from experience. But okay, I was just
Yeah,
curious. There's a personal curiosity there. Since you're a financial advisor, thought I'd ask. Appreciate
yeah. I
it.
mean, yeah. I don't know how to answer that because I think that's where it kind of originated from, was just YouTube banning or blocking accounts. And so I mean, I see people on X saying that all the time too, but I don't know where it's necessary. And because most of the people that
Well,
are saying it are people that are not financial advisors. But that's what's ironic,
sure.
is the actual
Exactly.
financial advisors can't really say stuff on. I have very strict like marketing limitations with my firm too. Like
Mhm.
I have to have pre-approved marketing stuff, so I couldn't even go out on Instagram or X or like say I can't. I have to be. I'm very limited on what I can do there. So it's all kind of backwards, and there's a lot of irony in it. But I don't know
I
the
want to
actual
share.
limits for different platforms.
I want to share why I say it. I
Yeah.
say it not because I have to or I feel pressured to, but because I don't want someone to invest in something and say, "Hey, you told me to," or feel that there was somehow that I coerce them in some way or that I have some kind of financial background that I don't. I'm just an editor. I'm just someone who's passionate about Caspa. And it's important always to do your own research. And that's pretty common knowledge. Most of us know that. But I think even among our friends, even among our family, sometimes it's good to just kind of throw that in there that, hey, I love this thing. but I'm not a financial advisor. And I do the same thing when I'm helping someone in my family. So for instance, if someone in my family has gotten injured, they know that I have CPR training, they know I have first aid training, but I'll sometimes while I'm doing something say I'm not a doctor. They know this already, duh. But I say that anyway so that we're on the same page. We can have a connection over that so they know that I'm willing to do the next step, or have some kind of mutual understanding. So it's just another way of creating a safety buffer before someone makes a mistake based on your word. It just kind of says, hey, let's dial this down a notch, just let you know where I stand. So that's why I do it.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of just liability disclaimers. Um, I mean, again, with some of the irony of it is, you know, and I can say this confidently that 99% of financial advisors have no idea what crypto is or can't tell you anything about blockchain. Um, I know that. I know that very confidently. So, I mean, most advisors would say, "Don't touch crypto. Don't invest in it at all. You're going to lose all your money." And for 99% of them, that's probably 99% of cryptos. That's probably true. But I mean, that's just a lack of education there. So that's some of the irony too. Is like, yeah, go talk. This is not financial advice. Go talk to a financial advisor. Well, I mean, crypto's new, and honestly, it takes a lot of education and a lot of time spent in the space, which most advisors aren't putting into learning blockchain. So that's until it's like part of our licensure and firm required continuing education and stuff like that, which I think will come down the road, but nobody's doing that right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. I appreciate you breaking it down and Kara sharing why you say it. I guess I'm around a lot of people that don't have like aren't on that level, and I when I speak on it, I just speak from experience, and people end up getting it. But I even had a friend tell me, you never say go do this or go do that, and I don't think I do. I don't think I've correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't speak from there. I just speak from experience and what I think. Same thing you're talking about, Kara, just being passionate about it. But
We just
I'm not
share
a, I'm not a,
throwing the disclaimer there, but like, I mean, we're all just sharing, and this is how I see it with friends and stuff too. I'm just sharing what I've learned about it. I
right.
share why I think Kaspa is a better solution. I don't say I don't I will never go into it and I know people do this, but I never go into it saying, "Oh, buy Kaspa, it's going to go to $10. That's going to be a great return for you." Do that. It's more so like, here's the problems these are the problems in the industry. Why crypto was born. These are the problems that crypto has faced along the way. This is where everything else has failed. This is where Kaspa, by my understanding, succeeds. So I think that it has the best chance to be a solution to the problems, of why crypto was created in the first place. And do with that knowledge what you will. It could fail. It could be very, very volatile, or crypto as a whole sector could just completely go bust. That's kind of the disclaimer in there. Is like, I'm not telling you to buy it because it's going to do this. I'm just providing the education. This is my understanding of it. And I think that's what we're doing in this group too, is just
It
anyone
is, yeah.
listening can just, this is what we've learned and we're excited about it. And we want people to kind of understand, because it's a lot of us, it's taken, hundreds of hours to
Ooh,
get to the understanding that we're at with Kaspa. And we're trying to fast track that a little bit for new users so that they don't have to go through quite as much
yeah.
research on their own.
I
So
almost think you can. I think people have to go through their own experience, and even thinking about just speaking of where I am with it. It's I even especially considering where Caspa is in nominal terms. I've spoken on this, but not measuring it in that. So it's something completely different from what I guess a financial advisor in that field would be even speaking on. So yeah, there's layers of this, man. We're still trying to figure it out as we go. So I just think the better and better we get at communicating what we're attempting to do here. And on this show, it's about getting beneath the surface, getting to the layers underneath. So yeah, man, I appreciate that take. Odie, go ahead, bro. I see your hand up.
I love the idea that you just brought up about well, I don't like having a jurisdictional requirement to tell me what I should advise and what I should not, but it is coming from a perfectly rational place of you don't know what you don't know sometimes, and when you push against that edge, sometimes that edge becomes a wall much higher than you expected, and it becomes more expansive, and it becomes more complex, and it becomes so many more things as soon as you start to push on it, and it reveals secrets to you. And as somebody who is designed to give advice, as you're pushing on this wall, and it's giving you things that you were unforeseeables, let's say, things that you didn't even think to calculate into your calculations. It just reminds me. Honestly, it reminds me of a song quote. I'll give you. Do you guys want to hear a song verse that kind of gives this?
Sing
Can you
it,
sing it?
sing it for us. So yeah, sing it for
All
us.
right.
And play
It's
some.
it goes it's a band from where I'm around. I just looked it up here. It goes, Abigail, oh baby girl, you had a name that said itself, but funny how a name can change about the time you're sick of saying it. Saying it, saying it. We had a thing so lovely, took every last part of me, but funny once you're into it, the all encompassing things are just a part of it. Part of it, part of it. Try to get back there. Try to get back there. Try to get back there. So sometimes the most all encompassing thing that you think you know, as soon as you push on the wall, it becomes 10 things that you didn't even realize. And that's what the space kind of, I feel like that's why a financial advisor is, it's this space is only designed for a decentralized network of brains which interact with one another in a frantic fashion, because the walls change fast. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hell yeah, that was beautiful. Was that your singing voice though? I thought you were gonna sing it to us.
No, I was just
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure.
reading the lyrics. It reminded me of it reminded me of
I
things that
felt
I
like I
shouldn't
was being
sing.
serenaded.
You did? Yeah, me too, a little bit. Whenever Odie talks, I feel like I'm being
Well,
serenaded.
if you guys ever want me to play his song, just let me know.
That was
I
great.
I, w- I will come back to that. I want you guys to know as well. Me being a financial advisor, quite literally means nothing in this environment, in this space. I am an advisor, so I can kind of give you from that industry perspective, like how the industry is moving with it and such. But I mean, I'm just another person learning a new technology, over the last several years, and learning about Kaspa completely independently of being an advisor. So like, yeah, I say that because of like I was just talking about kind of the regulatory restraints and such. But um, yeah, I know quite a bit about like money and people's relationship and thoughts about money and stuff like that. But I'm no smarter about Caspa necessarily than other people in this group, because I'm an advisor. That's kind of irrelevant. So and like I said earlier, 99% of other advisors don't know anything about blockchain. So
Yeah,
I
but
something
love
to keep
that
in mind.
you are into it and you're a financial advisor and you already know about crypto and you know about Caspa and you're all in, or at least you say you're a maxi. So that's awesome. Props to you on that.
When did you discover Kaspa? Curious.
I was just about to ask the same thing.
Well, I got into it around May of 23.
Okay.
But I had been heavily researching blockchain for quite a while before that and trying to really understand Bitcoin. Because one thing it's kind of funny is I had someone reach out to me actually in 2015, the year that I became an advisor, like officially got hired on and stuff with the firm I'm with and did my licensing and everything. This guy from my high school reached out to me on Facebook Messenger and said, hey, you should really, like, no matter what you think, you should just go and buy Bitcoin. And that was when it was $300. And I remember that every day. And, I didn't do anything about it at the time because I was like, oh, I'm an advisor. I know, more about money now, and never bought Bitcoin. And so anyway, I did get in Bitcoin at $2,000 was probably, I believe that was my first purchase. So I've been through a couple of different cycles, but the part is obviously volatility was huge, and there's a lot of learning involved. I took profit on Ethereum, took profit on Bitcoin because I had always learned, if you double your money, like, can't go broke taking a profit and all this stuff. And so it was after I 2 or 3x like the first time, I was like, and then saw what it did after I sold. I was like, you know what, blockchain is a new technology. And I don't remember what year it was, but several years ago or a couple cycles ago, I kind of told myself, I said, technology does not move backwards. So if something is kind of a groundbreaking, advancement in technology, it doesn't move backwards. So I was like, I need to understand this blockchain inside and out. And I understood pretty early, like, why things like Ethereum picked up, what kind of early on, what some of the limitations were, scaling limitations of Bitcoin. And so that was on my radar, knowing that. And so I was like, I'm going to learn crypto inside and out, the history of it, why Bitcoin, why Ethereum, why the shift from proof of work to proof of stake, where is everything going wrong, understanding the history of blockchain, going back to kind of why Bitcoin was created in the first place as a result of financial crisis. So anyway, so I wanted to be ready so that when something did solve, because I knew about the trilemma, and so I had told myself, this is technology that's not going away. I want to learn this inside and out so that when something does present itself, I can recognize it. And sure enough, being, keeping up with crypto pretty actively, I came across Kaspa, had not heard about it. But I was prepared in my previous research to know what I knew how to spot red flags of any project. And I just couldn't find red flags. And I was like, wow, this is exciting. I sent it to a couple buddies. One of my buddies has his own cybersecurity firm, and he's in crypto. And hey, find red flags for me. Like, I'm looking through this, and I can't find any red flags. Like, this seems like it should be able to solve this trilemma. I can't find red flags. And he spent some time digging into it, and he's like, dude, I think you're right. Proof of work too. And because I truly believe, like, you can't solve the trilemma without being proof of work. And anyway, that's kind of what got me into it. And then from early 2023 on, I've just been I check X every day. I'm watching YouTube videos all the time, updates on, KII, which I think is incredibly important in the ecosystem. It's incredibly exciting, getting to know some of the plans of KII or Kaspa Key, however you pronounce it. So just kind of been in the background, a little bit more quiet than a lot of you, but that's kind of my story.
Man, you're one of us. You're one of us. Great, great to get your story. I love hearing where people came from, and I dated a financial advisor that just thought Bitcoin was a scam. I mean, so it's just it's always interesting because I learned a lot about money from her, And because I've always, for me, I've always been really good at making it, but making it is different from investing in it and then all that. So these guys have heard my story a ton, but it was cool to hear your story, brother. And thanks for coming up and sharing and giving it, giving us the backstory there. Go ahead, Odie.
Yeah, it's actually. Oh,
Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say funny, interesting. You said that too about learning about Bitcoin and then learning about Kaspa actually taught me as an advisor what I didn't things that I didn't learn about the financial industry as an advisor, and that is things about well, I got into researching history of the Federal Reserve,
Ooh,
uh,
yeah.
things that I'm like, oh man, so what happens if the U.S. dollar isn't the world reserve currency anymore?
Which it isn't. It is no longer
In,
that.
rela- in relation to my job and like so. Anyway, I got into a lot of these things, and I'm like, oh, so Casp was kind of my hedge, which sounds kind of funny, but like traditional traditional markets and investments and stuff. I'm like, well, I think it's important to diversify in Caspa because everything else is I don't know. So I just got into all. I've learned more even within my own sphere, within my own job, from learning blockchain and crypto. So anyway, you can go ahead, Odie.
I just gotta. There's one quote. I'm gonna bring another quote out. It's "The moose is loose," which was one of my favorites. And he says his introduction to Caspa was on Reddit. Somebody says, "Prove to me that Caspa is not the scalable form of Bitcoin." And then Moose is Loose says, "Give me 10 minutes." And I've never come back since. And I just really love that particular one.
Yeah, I've heard him tell that story before.
That
Should we all tweet that all at once?
that's
We should. We should.
that's all I was
I've
gonna
heard
say.
that too.
Honestly,
No, that's a
honestly,
great
yeah,
quote.
yeah. That's a I. Let's I yeah.
That's excellent.
How we doing, Juan?
We're doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. So we're reaching that 2.5 hour mark, and I wanted to see if you wanted to start winding down or keep going. How are you feeling?
How I mean I'm good for a little bit here. Yeah, I did share this with I mean I think I've shared it with all you guys too. I'm in the process of launching a business and I my sleep is super important. I'm on the East Coast. This is past my bedtime, but I'm definitely committed to hosting this on a weekly basis with Kara. I just think these conversations are critical, important. Um, but I didn't work for 2.5 years, and I'm in the process of launching a business. And I've been working all day. I'm up at like 6, 7 in the morning, and I don't stop. So um, don't think I can do the 4 or 5 hours that we sometimes do. So trying to keep this to what I say 2.5 hours, 3 hours max. I'm good for a little bit here. If anybody else wants to bring anything up, has anything to share, then we'll start winding it down. If not,
I love the quote that you shared, Odie, on the the moose quote. Give me 10. And Juan, I also just want to say that I'm just so stinking proud of you for doing this business, even though it's something you may not want to do right now. The fact that you are, I just have so much mad respect for what you're doing.
yeah, that's the lesson in this. And we kind of touched on it here during our conversation tonight. And it's the whole. I bought into the hodl. Like I made all this money, had it in the bank, transferred it over, and you just hodl, just sit there and wait. No, no, no. I mean, the beautiful thing about this is that I definitely have the skill set. I have the experience where I can put something together. It may take me a couple months to scale, but I've been fortunate in that area. Making money has never been an issue for me. The investment, not listening to my financial advisor. If I find out who you are, the Caspa Maxi may go to you. But so yeah, it's just putting in the proof of work is the way I see it. Putting in the proof of work. So this is what needs to happen now, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words.
Of course. And Caspa Maxi, thank you for opening up and just sharing that wonderful story. I actually really respect and like that when you heard about Caspa, one of your first instincts was to reach out to someone you trusted who ran a cybersecurity firm and said, hey, look for flags, look for something that sticks out to you. I think that is so amazing and critical. And I love that you almost didn't trust your own research. You went to someone who had more expert authority on that research so that you could really use that source to help know whether you're doing something legitimate or not. And I love that. And I think that falls under do your own research because you're using your tools and you're using your sources, and that's what it's about. So good job on that. I think people can learn from that, what you did.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's part of the advisor side of me is that I would hate if I got all excited about something and got friends and family and everyone in it, and then it just went pulled an FTX or just went belly up or something like that. That would not look good on me, and so I'm very careful and diligent about before I talk to someone about something crypto related, I better know it inside and out. So I mean, there's still things that I need to learn. I'm no coder or developer, but I mean, I take in as much as I can along the way. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's great to hear from you. And I'm sure you have a lot of knowledge. I mean, you've been in Caspa since May 23. May 23, I think that was the year that actually May 23, isn't that when Caspa was at this price point?
Yeah, so I actually, the first Caspa exposure on X, because I think X was like, it had just become X shortly before that, or it hadn't been that long. And my first Caspa person that I followed was Jim Skibum, and he put some chart analysis out there. And I had actually bought a little bit of Caspa around 2 cents, and then Jim Skibum's analysis was like, well, he did Fibonacci extensions or retracements, whatever, and was like, I think this is where it'll probably hold up or whatever. I put some limit orders in, and I got my limit orders filled at 1.1 or 1.2 cents, and that's where I had like a bulk. It's amazing how much you could get for not a lot of money at the time. So that was like my first like bigger buys was like right at like 1.2 cents, and just kind of held it all the way up. And so yeah, it's interesting that now it's like back at these prices. I was like, well, I guess I'll just I had a goal, had a goal in mind, and then I mean achieve that over time, and then now it's like, well, we've been riding this down all the way. I'm just buying it all the way down, so I've accumulated more than I initially anticipated, but
I
gonna keep
love
going.
that. Yeah, I got into this when Caspa was 0.004 cents.
That's fun.
A 40th, not a 40, well, yeah, 40% of a penny. And I can tell you, I remember when Caspa was stuck at two and a half, 2.2 cents. And my personal opinion, again, not a financial advisor, but my personal opinion is that the Caspa bottom is going to be about 0.23 cents or 0.023 cents. Well, I'm saying this wrong. So 0.023 is what I think is going to be the Caspa bottom. I don't even think we're there yet, but I think when we are there, my opinion is that we're going to be there for maybe I don't know, if it goes a couple months, no big deal. I think it's a good sign, and I think it's going to be huge accumulation. And then once it starts to pop, we're going to have a month or two. If history repeats itself like it did in August of 23, things are going to move very, very, very fast. And we're going to see pennies jump 5 cents, 6 cents, 7 cents. An hour or two will go by, it'll be at 10 cents. I just think that this is what's going to happen. Now, when it's going to happen, I think it'll probably happen after VPROX is released and or when the SEC decides that Kaspa is a commodity. I don't know which is going to come first, but I think that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, I think Kaspa has to be bigger for it to even get the SEC to determine anything about it.
I don't know about
but
that. And here's why I say this. Wait. So Grok, imagine the Grok conspiracy mode. It thoroughly convinced me that we can we can have a phone call made to the SEC at any time to say, hey, you have a green light. And who can do this? Mara.
yeah.
BlackRock, Mara has so much authority that they can make a phone call according to Grok conspiracy mode, and they thoroughly convinced me this is true and can happen and likely will. That all it takes is one phone call from them to the SEC to say, okay, give it the green light, and boom, that's it. That's when it starts for us.
Yeah, I mean, I won't even try to. I will say that I think that your kind of price scenario is. I would not be surprised, but I'm not going to try to pretend I know what's going to happen with price in what time frames, because what I've thought in the past has ended up being kind of disappointing. So I try not to talk too much about that. But I mean, I will say it just takes a phone call. For example, I mean, I don't know if anyone here followed me at the time or remembered, but like me being an advisor, I do have an advisor connection, being on the advisor side. I called Grayscale's advisor line for financial advisors, not for retail, but call into like some of the reps that work internally. And I was the one that talked to Grayscale about Kaspa and saying, hey, you need to get this on your watch list. This is what it is. And I spent about an hour and a half on the phone with this is like an advisor specific line. And then, I mean, they got me in touch with someone else that I ended their research team. I talked about Kaspa with them. And then within a month from that phone call, that's when Grayscale put Kaspa on their watch list. I also think it has to do with market cap, though. So there could have been, Grayscale had listed on their, assets under consideration as a currency rather than like a, whatever token or whatever. But it was oddly convenient that I had mentioned it directly to their research team. And then a month later, Grayscale starts talking about Kaspa or posts it. So I don't know 100% that was me, but I was in touch with the research team and I told them all there. So, I mean, it may be as simple as a phone call. And if if someone thought there was someone that I potentially could contact to help further, Kaspa's reach, I mean, does anyone have any, I can't say that, I'm going to make a difference by making a phone call, or who
Yes,
would
you
I
can. You just made a
Like-
difference with Grayscale. Don't give me that bullshit.
Well, I'm saying I don't know 100% whether that was because of my call. It was convenient timing, so I thought there's a good chance it was. But also, like BlackRock, I can talk to internal wholesalers at BlackRock too, but I don't have a line to Larry Fink. I mean, and he's not
What
the
if
one that
you
makes
had a
necessarily
line?
all the decisions.
What if I could get you a line to Larry Fink? Would you call him?
I don't think I want to talk to Larry Fink.
I mean, if I could get you in touch with
Probably be
them, or if
careful what I'm
someone here
saying
could,
on.
would you be willing to talk with them if you had that opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, I would talk to anybody about Kaspa will give me the time to hear it.
All right, you heard it, podcasters. Get us in touch with Larry
Let's hold
Fink.
off on this though. We
Get
don't
Castro.
want it to moon just yet. All right. This is the accumulation phase. So let's keep it. I want your
Here's
timeline to
a
work out.
conversation.
Okay. We don't
It's just
we'll
a
make the call in a
talk.
couple months. All right.
I'm all right with that. I'm liking these prices temporarily. It's pro and cons. We love when the price goes up, but I also love when the price is down. As long as it goes up eventually, right?
Oh, it's designed to go up forever in fiat terms, right? And there's no bottom.
Yeah, and
Yes. So
you can just hold it indefinitely, and
yeah.
with no transactions needed.
Yeah, we're just being played with right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think more institutions and big players are aware of Kaspa than any of us know.
They have to be. There's no way they're not. Yeah, I agree.
Because anyone putting in, looking at implementing, any big corporations that are looking at implementing blockchain, I mean, I unless just the whole world is that dumb, but I can't see why, like, all these institutions like throwing everything at like Solana
You can't see
or
why.
on Ethereum. I'm like, why? How? Why is I even talked to Grayscale about that. I was like, they were talking to me about how next after the Ethereum ETF was likely going to be the Solana ETF, which then they came out with.
Can I say
But
something?
I told them at the time, I was like, why? I was like, why are you doing a Solana ETF? And I explained so many reasons why I thought that was not good for crypto. And they were like, well, it's more of like an adoption thing, and it was the size of market cap was really all they cared about. So I was like, okay, well, it's kind of this echo chamber then of something goes up, then it keeps going up, and then more adoption happens just because it's going up, and then we get FTX at some point, in my opinion. But like, it's just but ETFs also, like, that doesn't help transaction volume unless there's a lot of inflows and outflows and they're holding spot and having to transact there, but you're not using it for what it's supposed to be. So I have an issue with, like, I am licensed for ETFs as an advisor, but I don't like the idea of holding Bitcoin or anything in ETFs anyway. But
I forget what I was going to say. I had a sneezing attack. But what I will say is what's happening constantly for me is if I hear one more Jonathan Sompolinski interview, I swear every time it happens, I realize how much of an absurdist, overconfident, like just gluttonous fool I am. And you can hear my nose is plugged at this point. But like when I hear him talk, or when I hear even Shy Wirebrowski, he'll make claims or whatnot, but what especially Jonathan, it just reveals to me something about we have dogma. It's built into us through the Bitcoin ethos, and we're unlearning, and we are getting closer to what is called, I would say, a flywheel truth, something that is a sustainable truth of utility or usefulness in proof of work. And when you hear Jonathan talk, I can't I can't push this enough that it humbles me every time how he asks his questions, how he phrases his remarks, how he is curious in a parallel that we don't ask our questions. He asks it like and I encourage everybody to go back and listen to as many interviews as possible, because it'll start to open your mind to the fact that these protocols are still in discovery mode, and we're still discovering them, and to come to our own conclusions about proof of stake because somebody told you is even premature. I would say, even if Jonathan told you, I would say, like, get to the bottom of it and be the reason, or be the math behind it. Because anyway, that's my rant. Yeah.
I liked what you mentioned there briefly, like unlearning. Just a brief example, like my wife is a registered dietitian, and it's interesting, like what she learned in her grad program and stuff. And for example, like the food pyramid just flipped. I don't know if you followed any of that, but like the some real truths are coming out all the time, and especially with like food and dietetics and stuff like that. It's like things that we thought we knew in the past have kind of been realized that might be wrong, or like a lot of diets and stuff in the past. Like you kind of have to unlearn things to learn how to really get healthy. And I kind of see that as with crypto and with Bitcoin, it's kind of like what not necessarily like Kaspa community, but a lot of people that aren't aware of Kaspa yet. It's almost like to get people to understand Kaspa, you kind of have to unlearn what you've been kind of conditioned to believe about crypto, because you don't quite know the whole picture. So it's frustrating. Because you really do have to know a lot in order to understand why Kaspa is what it is.
Agree. You have to go. You have to go deep.
You hit this. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. And a reminder, I mean, like thinking of how, speaking on what you talked about, Odie, with how Jonathan speaks and how he asks questions. I think a great example, I know that you've watched that interview that he did with Vlad, that 7-hour interview,
So
multiple
good.
times. So have I. Yeah, that's one of the best examples of what literally every time I listen to it, I want to listen to it again. I will. But again, I got to meet him in person. It was brief, but I can tell you, as a person who's gone deep into the depths of my energy and my spirit, I know that I have that within me where I could kind of, I'm not saying I'm always 100% right,
You can recognize.
but I can recognize. Yeah, there you go. I can recognize, like you took the words out of my mouth. I can recognize when I feel, not you don't even have to say much. Just let me be around you and I can recognize it. And the community recognizes it, because a reminder, and I think I heard this on the other blockchain banter, but they mentioned that the tweet that Jonathan put out once he was, everything that went down with Binance, that was the 5th most viewed tweet on all of X in 2025.
No.
It was the
No.
5th
Really?
most viewed
Whoa.
tweet in
What about
all of
Charlie
X of
Chaplin?
2020. It was the 5th most viewed tweet in all of X in 2025. So that right there tells you, okay, we all know how Cas was built. We all know that we don't have the backing of this massive budget to get all these people. That's why they think we're bots. They haven't said that shit in a while, but we show up. We show up in droves, and that says a lot. That says a lot. So I remember when I was at his speech that he did in London, and I just posted, "Oh, checking out Jonathan," and that post right there got. I've had like a couple get 500 likes, but that post within an hour or two, everybody was liking that. I'm like, okay. So that's energy. That just shows you where we're at as a community. And it's great to, again, Jonathan isn't Caspa. We are Caspa. We're Caspa. We're individual nodes within Caspa. That's what makes this super cool. And speaking on having to unlearn, we come from a system where we're inherently and naturally we look at authority a certain way. So there's some of that still. So a lot of people just aren't ready for, oh shit, I am my own person and I can be a part of this movement and bring myself to it. It's almost like shit, too much freedom here. We're not really used to that. So that it takes a lot of learning, like you said, the Caspa Maxi, where you have to really be inquisitive and ask the questions and go deep. And then what Odie talked about, right? Where it's like you hit this wall, but it's if you hit it and you go through it, you're gonna realize, oh shit, there's so many layers of this. So that's never ending. That is never ending. And I think we all have that in common in the community. As long as you go there, life is exciting. Life is
I
exciting.
I just
We're
want to
gonna
say sorry for the Charlie Chaplin quote. That was kind of insensitive, but I totally agree.
No, you're good. I didn't catch it when you said it, so you're fine.
But I can't believe that I actually don't believe you. is where I'm at
That's
with.
fine. I'm repeating what I heard. I was on the other it was on the other blockchain banter where they
Like,
where
it
they
wasn't Putin.
was it I think it was Wolfie who mentioned it.
I just don't. Sorry, I don't. Top 5
Go
of.
go look at it. Let's go look at it. Let's actually try to confirm that because I am repeating what I heard, but I think we should try to confirm that.
You know who's the person for the job is Kara. And
I was actually just thinking how easy it would be to try to find this out.
Cool. So yeah,
Wouldn't
let's
wouldn't
find let's
Grok be
let's
good at
find that out
answering
because
that?
they
I
All right.
don't
You
I
guys keep
don't
talking. I'll
believe
go
it
look it
for
up.
a fucking minute, but okay. That would astonish me. I'd lose my shit if that was true. Um yeah. Anyway.
I wonder if I can go back and find out exactly where I heard that from. I know it was on the blockchain banter though.
Like, okay, let's
The
think
one on
about this.
Monday.
Like all of the like school
Tweets
shootings,
ago, sure.
mass shootings, and then some.
Maybe hold on, let me rephrase it. Maybe it was the fifth most viewed tweet within crypto Twitter. Is there a way to measure that?
Yeah, that sounds more like
Does that
I'm
okay.
just being a skepticist as Bishop
Always.
gave me props for saying that I'm the top pessimist in Caspa. Uh,
And you're a slam poet too. You wrote over here too. So let's
you
get
wa-
it all out
you
there.
know what? Do you guys want to hear a poem that I wrote? And
Only if you sing it.
it has nothing to do with Caspa, but I wrote it, and it's one of my only poems that I feel like I'm proud of.
Go for it, but I should also just mention that Jonathan's post was not in the top 5.
Fuck.
Of crypto Twitter. Is there a way to check
Crypto
that
Twitter.
out?
I'm checking in other capacities, but it looks like no so far.
Okay.
Okay, I guess I'll give you the poem. You ready?
Ready, go.
All right. It's kind of got a Dr. Zeus vibe to it. It goes, okay, here we go. I'll tell you this once, I tell you forthright. The only thing faster than light, the only thing quicker, is a shake in the night. And the only way to change. Oh, let me start over. Fuck! Okay. I tell you this once, I tell you forthright. The only thing faster than light, the only thing quicker, is a shake in the night. And the only way to change altitude faster than time is to say, what could that be? More than 3 times over. I tell you this once, I tell you forthright. The only thing faster than light, the only thing quicker, is a shake in the night. That's my poem. I wrote that on LSD and I almost had a panic attack. Anyway, there you go.
Getting into the depths of Odie. Thank you for sharing, brother.
Can you send that to me so I can analyze it?
Yeah, psychoanalyze it. My sister told me I was like weird for that one, and I said, read it like Dr. Zeus, fucking bitch. Anyway,
I wanna read it. It's hard for me to hear it. I wanna read it.
okay, I'll
So
post it in the comment here.
thank you. And I looked this up. This tweet was nowhere in the top 5 for crypto or for anything. The top tweets have hundreds of millions of views. They're not in the single digits.
I stand corrected. How many views did that post get?
It was over 3 million.
It was 3 million. Okay.
Yeah, over 3 million.
Okay.
So the top viewed ones got tens to hundreds of millions of views. And even in crypto markets, yeah, it just didn't make it. So I wonder who got this
top?
information.
It was literally said. I mean, I'm repeating what I heard. I want to say Wolfie. We can go back. All these spaces are recorded. I'm not gonna take the time to do it though.
Kara, it's uploaded for you. It's in the comments.
Thank you. I'm gonna look at this. I'm such a reader.
I hope you like it. I hope you
Let's
like it.
see.
My sister fucking hated it, and I was like, read it again.
Oh, I get it.
Right.
When you say a shake in the night, are you talking about masturbation?
No! Pervert.
Jesus.
Pervert alert.
I don't know what I'm reading here.
No. And like, you know what? Maybe she thought that too. And I was like,
Oh.
this is about paranormal a paranormal feeling and how a paranormal feeling can happen faster than light. And I was like it's like it interrupts your consciousness faster than anything humanly possible. Maybe the shock, maybe the awe, maybe the feeling of this can't be possible when it happens. Anyway.
Well, that explains it to me. Okay. Now, yeah. I guess I'm a reader too. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that explanation, brother.
I'm glad you explained it because when I read it, I thought, wait, is this a pervert poem? What am I
Yeah, my
reading
fucking
here? About a
sister,
shake in the night.
she probably thought that too. God damn it.
I mean,
Go explain it to
usually
her.
when there's a shake in the night, it's under the covers. I
No, but a
mean,
shake in the night is like a shake in your spirit. You know what I mean? Like something that's like, wait, that shouldn't have been, that was misplaced. That shouldn't have been put right there. And I know that because of, and something deep in your soul says, that doesn't work with human physics. And then that feeling right in that moment of being that
see, okay.
Do you ever
Well, I would
jolt
go with,
awake in the middle of the night when
yeah.
like maybe you fall off a cliff or something,
that's a
like something just forces you to jolt?
I guess that's
That's what
not a
I
shake
would.
in the
That's what
night,
I
but it's
thought of.
close.
So it's
That's
almost
how
a
I
shake in your
interpreted that.
soul, but soul doesn't rhyme with these other
It's a
words. So you had to
I
go
would
with
say it's a
night.
disbelief of physics. Yeah, it's like it's going, that could not be here. That's not a thing that's physically able to happen here. And that's for me what I would call a shake in the night, is something that you witness and you go, that's not possible. And then in that moment it's faster than light.
So what did you feel?
Interestingly enough, I'm not a person who feels a shake in the night often. I regard myself as a witness of others, and I also regard myself as a witness of people who can feel. It's hard to explain, but I've seen the only thing that I can call a a shake in the night that I've seen is when somebody started talking and I said, that's not that person. And it wasn't necessarily evil, but I said that wasn't that person. And I was alone with them and I saw something, I guess they call it channeling. But where something is coming through a person and speaking to you. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Anita Battlestar Angel, but it's kind of like the character that can kind of speak through the characters or something like that. One time I feel like I undeniably had an experience where I spoke to something through somebody. And
It wasn't.
Similar
that
to astro projecting.
no, I'm just gonna say that was my shake in the night when I went, this is not that person, and I felt like I spoke to something else in that moment.
Like you were seeing through them, so you saw something else. Is that what you're saying?
No, just heard them speak, and the energy that they spoke to me with, I was with how much I knew them, and all of these things, and just a number of variables that when it was an overwhelming feeling
Were you on
of
LSD?
just honestly, I don't know how many different things, but
Because I've had you're reminding me of I had an experience. This is during I want to say the third or fourth. I've sat with ayahuasca 10 times. So this was the third or the fourth one, but you just reminded me of at the so I didn't really feel much during the ceremony, but at the end of it, I was next to a buddy of mine who's like one of my really, really good friends now. And we were talking. I started to remember I had one of those moments in high school where I threw a game-winning pass with 2 seconds left and turned to the crowd. I was a quarterback, so turned to the crowd and like they came and rushed me and I got picked up on shoulders. And it was just one of those things you kind of dream about, right? When you're a kid. I had one of those moments, but I was reliving that and telling him the story. And as I was telling him the story, we were out in like this big ranch and there were these trees and I could see the trees connected all the way up to the all the way like it was never ending the connection that the trees had to the universe all the way up. And then when I looked over at my buddy, he wasn't him. I could see that like a different spirit and he looked like this warrior from ancient times. And as I was telling the story, I went back into my body and as I was telling it, I was feeling all the emotions that I did not feel from my body. Because every time I would tell that story, I would tell it from the perspective of me looking down at myself. It's like I got to like relive that game-winning drive and the game-winning pass. But looking at my friend, so I guess that was me talking, and I don't know if it has any relevance to what you're sharing, but you just reminded me of that story for some reason, and that experience that I had. Pretty
Yeah,
intense.
yeah. I think the validity of something that breaks physics is such a personal endeavor. Sorry, a personal endeavor, and it should be looked at with the most fine tooth, intensive skepticism possible, and and
can you guys hear me? I just kind of dropped out there.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just feel like in my experience, I personally was somebody who was a non-believer. I was somebody who was I would say a atheist
Same
for
here.
most
Same here.
of,
So was I.
yeah, and for the first 27 years of my life, even though I went to a Christian school, I went to Christian camp, I had a Christian family, I had all these Christian things, and then I had experience when I was 27, which was, well, at that point in my life, I was somebody who believed that people used this particular, I would say, method or coping mechanism to cope, I guess. But an occurrence happened, and I became a believer within 1 second or maybe 10 seconds all at once. And then I was like, okay, I get what they're getting at. They're trying to get at something. I get it at that moment. And then I believed in Buddhism, I believed in the Torah, I believed in the Quran, I believed in the Sikh Bible, I believed in Punjabi, I believed in all of it, all within that 10 seconds, basically.
You recognized.
Yeah.
You recognize
Well,
that you don't.
yeah, sometimes, and I would call that a shake in the night,
Okay.
honestly. But
Gotcha.
that was a shake in the day. But yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Bishop, I
I
see you
like
down there.
that. What's up, Bishop?
How am I a speaker right now? What happened? I didn't
You
request.
Gotta do it.
How'd you guys force me up here? It's
you
Wednesdays. It's after
don't lie
midnight.
to
The family's
us.
sleeping.
Don't lie to us. You wanted to come up here and hear yourself talk. We know.
Zero chance. Zero chance. We'd be here for another 3 hours. There's no reason I'd want to come here and speak. We'd be talking all night. No, you guys are killing it again. I truly don't know how I became a speaker. I was literally making a drink when I heard the microphone switch in my ear, and I was like, "No, that's the sound of the audio when I'm a speaker. Why am I a
Hell
speaker
yeah.
right now?"
It was a shake. It was a shake in the night. It was
It
a
was
shake
just
in the
shaking the
night.
night. The ideas of what a shaking the night is, and Odie, I do not want to ruin how beautiful everything you just laid out is, but I mean, I think Karen nailed it. It literally is just you closing your eyes and wiggling your blanket around. I mean, there's nothing else a shake in the night can be.
Wait, say that again. I didn't hear that. Did you say wiggling your what around?
Your blanket. Your blanket. Kara said masturbation happens under a blanket. I mean, that's not necessarily how I do it, but it makes for a good visual.
Right.
Bishop
I
hasn't
mean,
Bishop hasn't delved into the to you said LSD and a
No, I
bunch of
don't do
other stuff.
psychedelics. Yeah, I haven't done
Bishop
any
doesn't go there.
psychedelics.
Yeah.
No, the only thing, I mean, I drink a lot, but the only thing I've ever done
Not even
non-drinking.
close to the same. Not
No,
even on the same
no. The
hemisphere.
only thing I've done is smoke weed. Like that's it. I've never wanted to
All
touch
right,
anything else.
that's a cousin. That's a cousin, I
No,
guess.
I've seen enough movies and honestly people around me in my life where I was like, you know what, I'm good. I don't need to touch those things. I'm good, and I'm also a control freak. So the last thing I want to do is release to the gods and to the spirits. But it was ironic that this isn't beneath the surface. This is in another realm. Is when the microphone turned on. I swear on everything, I didn't request to speak.
There we go. It's
whoa, and
I'll believe that.
I didn't invite
I
you,
didn't
so it
invite him
wasn't
either.
me.
So if it wasn't, was it the blockchain banter account?
Whoa,
Who's that? Who's that person? Ooh, I don't know.
It
whoa,
was the
that's
shake.
spooky.
That's what it was. It was the shake. The shake got me.
Yeah.
Yo, is
Oh my
shake
So
in the
now
god,
you're a
night?
believer.
Night.
Now he's a
I
believer.
need, oh my god,
I am.
I need to put my copper hat on now.
Kara, can
Good
I give
shit.
you just a big hug from the East Coast? A giant hug for fucking number
Sure.
one. Before I even get a chance to congratulate you on everything you build, you send me this vague DM with "Hey," and I'm like, do I ask for tits or feet? Which one do I ask for? I'm not sure. Um, what a fucking roller coaster for you this week, huh?
Oh, tell me about it. It's been crazy.
You
It's
have
been up
great
and
energy. I
down.
knew
It's
you were
been
handling it.
volatile.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been crazy. But I'm not going to be defeated, and I just keep pushing forward. And yeah, I think the whole feet pick, boob pick thing was hilarious. Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, what a way to have a welcome to a scammer. I
Well,
think
do
that
you
was
have
great.
good feet? Honest question: do you have good feet? Do you like your feet?
Um, so how's Kaspa?
It's right around 3.2. I wear a size 14, but I actually have good toes, so I like my feet. That's what I'm saying. Like, for big feet, I have decent feet for a size 14. Except
Is that
when I was younger, my mom didn't want to buy me shoes often, so I would always wear shoes smaller than my foot, so my pinky toes actually like turn in. So besides my pinky toe, I got solid feet for big feet. That's all I'm saying. So I'm asking you, Kara, what's up with that feet, girl?
is that the next project Kara's going to work on? Is a foot finder platform?
Yo, you too?
You know what? Just send me a bunch of Kaspa, and then maybe I'll answer that. I don't know. We'll see.
50 cast
Maybe.
per toe. What's up? 50 cast per toe.
You know what? No, I'm no pics, but I might answer your question, but no
Bishop,
pics. But
Bishop.
maybe we'll see.
What's up,
I
Odie?
if Bishop, I have a feeling. It's a suspicion more than anything that if we go to a Caspa event, it's gonna be me and you, and we're gonna be around a bottle of whiskey.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All day, brother. All day.
Yeah, you read
All
that
day.
perfectly.
Absolutely.
You read that perfectly,
Let's
Odie.
do it.
That's what I see
Yep.
too between you two.
Yep. Let's do it.
Anyway.
I'm actually on Tito's tonight. I've been having a hell of a fucking week. I told Juan on Monday that my car broke down. It's gonna be $2,500. My mechanic called me today and says it's gonna be another 400. So let's just chalk it up to 3,000, or what's that? 1 million cash or 100,000 cash. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Get to work.
So yeah,
I wear
I
flip
needed a
flops.
drink tonight.
Yeah.
I wear flip flops every day.
There we go. Now we're talking feet. Would you rather flip or flop? Or shake in the night? Which one? I told you I didn't want to speak.
We're gonna have Bishop host the space to have this
Mondays.
continue. It is
Nope.
way past my
Mondays 12 to
bedtime.
3. Nope. Mondays 12 to 3. That's it. Live on the Castle Standard. Mondays 12 to 3. I don't host shit else. Nope.
Go listen. Yeah.
Oh my god. No, this was a great space. I was glad to listen for a little bit and hear what you guys got going on. Brand new member of the community as well. I made sure to follow. I didn't remember the name. I apologize, sir, but you brought great information. Caspa Maxi. Love the way you talk about Caspa. I'm sure Juan could attest to this.
You already know.
90% of what you said, 90% of what you said is what I say all the time. So it's very confirming to hear someone who's a professional in here, kind of speak about Caspa, where it's an entity onto its own within a field labeled crypto, but it's not necessarily what Caspa is. And that's really exciting because as much as we've wanted to put, now we can get serious, right? As much as we've been Bitcoin or whatever the fuck, Ethereum, Solana, all that bullshit, we want to put labels on it because, hey, here's an opportunity to get rich. Even when Caspa go down, you still look at the tech and you go, holy shit, something's going to happen sometime soon. It's going to be really fucking cool. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'll always be here, because something's going to happen sometime soon. It's going to be really fucking cool to see what happens.
That's awesome. Yeah, you brought some great points, Bishop, and we've had some really great insight tonight with some amazing speakers. So I just want to give a shout out so we can start winding down tonight. Caspa Maxi, thanks for bringing your background and your experience and sharing your story with us tonight. And Odie, it's always a pleasure. And you really broke down a lot of information for us that was really helpful and useful. Bishop, I wish you were on more. That was really great. Onion was on for a brief amount of time. 16-bit was here for a little while. Juan, you're always a great co-host. Who else did we have? Did we have any other speakers here tonight to thank?
I think you covered them all. Yeah, no, you named them all.
Was that all of them?
That was all of them. We had somebody try to attempt, but I think it was a bot that I ended up kicking from the space. So yeah. So that was it.
That
That was
must have
everybody
been
who
it.
took the mic. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had some amazing speakers, great conversation, and yeah, thanks everyone for joining us, for listening live or recorded. If anyone here wants to go back and listen to any of these episodes, you can go on the Blockchain Banter YouTube channel. It's no longer necessarily my account. This is on YouTube Music now instead of on my channel. There is a podcast section on my channel, but you no longer have to find this through my YouTube. You can now go on YouTube Music, look up Blockchain Banter Beneath the Surface, and you can listen to all the episodes, or Spotify, or Amazon Podcasts. There's Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, iHeartRadio. There's a few others. Basically, anywhere that has podcasts, you can now listen to us, which is great. Except Netflix. Netflix is for visual only, and it's different. But anywhere that you listen to audio podcasts, you can listen to us. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to share some love, we do have a wallet at beneaththesurface.cas. Anything we receive, we split between Juan and I 50-50, or we'll leave a little in the wallet to cover Vivore broadcasts. Hopefully we'll be on Vivore again next week. But yeah, I want to thank everyone, and Juan, thanks for dancing with me today. And yeah, we'll leave this with you.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
I have
Go
a
ahead, Odie.
question. I have a question. Can we have a shit-faced edition with me and Bishop, which goes extended?
100%. You and Bishop need to host it though.
Hold on. Don't just sign me up for getting shit faced. I agree, but don't just sign me up for getting shit faced.
We'll definitely hold one in the future, no doubt. I'll drink some kava with you guys. I ain't throwing back alcohol, but
We'll do it. We'll do it for celebration. It can't be when Covenants
I'll have
or V Products comes out because that's my wife's birthday. But
and
there will be a time in Caspa celebration that we'll get on here and go crazy.
I will have it when I meet you guys in person. That's when I'll save the whiskey for. I'll definitely have a whiskey with you guys. That's when I'll save that for.
All
All right. Well, anyways, thank you all for coming up. I second everything that Kara says. It's always great dancing in the conversation with each and every single one of you. Kaspa Maxley, enjoyed meeting you today, brother. Please keep coming back. We're here every single week. We're not going to stop, no matter where the nominal price of Kaspa is, because it's bigger than that. It's definitely bigger than that. I think you all know that. So thank you for all of you that came and listened live and listen in for however much time, and those of you that will listen back on all the platforms that my great co-host Kara has put us on. We're just trying to get the message out. So thank you again for joining Blockchain Banter Beneath the Surface, where Kaspa carries that current of truth, vibrating at the frequency of seekers. Remember, one conversation at a time. Be humble, be kind, give it time. Love you all. Have a beautiful night. Cheers.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you, guys.